to another installment of the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast, for the week of June 17th, 2023. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, D.
This is Juice.
This is Frank.
And on the wheels of steel in the production, we got a little Scarlett back there. Thank you for joining us, little Scarlett.
DJ Heavy.
Right. You know what I'm saying? The wheels of steel, holding it down. And man, it's good to be back with all y'all, man. Got my man Frank over here, Juice. And it's been such a long time since we all hooked up, guys. First of all, how y'all guys doing, man? How's everything?
All right, looking forward to Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to both of you.
Happy Father's Day to y'all too.
Happy Father's Day, man.
International Day of Rest.
What it's all about.
I'm a father times 3 now, so
Yeah, congratulations, man.
When you get older, you realize like the extension that the kids are your extension, of yourself. That's how you're gonna live on. You know what I mean? It's like through your kids, your grandchildren, your family. You know what I mean? Those are gonna be the main ones who remember you.
It's kind of funny to me that it was that I heard someone say like basically like your kids are like little pieces of you or little pieces of your heart running around.
Of your DNA, of your being, of yourself.
Like literally just running around.
And I think that's the important part on Father's Day is just realizing like when you have children, you always have family, and just like we were talking a few minutes ago about what are you going to do on Father's Day? I want to just chill, be around my family. Like
real talk.
We don't have to go anywhere and spend money, or it's not even about the money.
Like
but
I was just like I'm gonna go have brunch with the family.
Just to hang.
And I'm gonna go home and I'm trying to finish up God of War.
Do nothing.
Just trying to wrap that shit up.
Hey, look, I am playing Jedi Survivor right now.
I
did get a PS5. Thank you.
Nice, man.
Step my game up.
Dude,
Got Jedi Survivor, man. I don't know, halfway through it. I don't know.
Welcome to the club, man.
How was it so far? No spoilers, but
I like the first one better. I can say that. I can't say that about Into the Spiderverse or Across the Spiderverse, but I can say I like Fallen Order better than Survivor so far.
All right. Well, I got it. I just haven't got to it. I'm trying to wrap up God of War still, man.
All right, guys. Look, real quick. I know since it's been so long since we got with each other, man, I wanted to update y'all on my Disney Plus journey. Now, this is old news, old business to Frank and Juice. Okay. But I broke this down into 3 sections.
Hold on. Let me say, welcome, D. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to get you on for a while. You know what I'm saying? And now that you've made the journey across, you let go of the old attachment.
Right. Like Anakin Skywalker.
You cross into the realm of Disney, man.
Welcome to the club.
Well, they do have a lot of stuff, and it keeps you invested in keeping their platform. You know what I mean? That's one thing that HBO Max and some of these other streaming platforms, like, it's just interesting stuff. So, real quick, man. So, these are the shows that I watched so far. I watched, first of all, I'm going to break it down into 3. The show I like the best, the show I like the least, and the show I was most surprised by. Okay? So, I watched The Mandalorian. I watched the movie Eternals. I had never seen it. That was the only Marvel movie I had never seen.
That was the best. That's the least.
Well, I'm just going through what I watched, and then I'm gonna tag the best in it. So I watched all of What If, the What If series. Have you seen that? That was good. Yeah, I like the ending of that. I watched the Boba Fett. I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. You guys watched that?
I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah.
I didn't watch Andor yet. I didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I watched Hawkeye. I watched.
I didn't watch Hawkeye.
I didn't watch Loki. I'm 2 episodes in. Watched Visions. I got Moon Knight to go through. Couple of the shows, man. But okay. So the show I like the best, The Mandalorian, man.
Thank you, man.
Dope. Like, why they got to get these creators? I didn't even know Jon Favreau, the guy from
Dave Filoni,
Dave, like Jon Favreau.
These are the guys.
Happy from freaking Iron Man and what. I'm like,
after that, I was like,
he's like Star Wars stories.
I mean, Jon Favreau, he's directing Iron Man. He's directing.
He directed. I looked up his movieography. Is that right?
This guy,
filmography.
Yeah.
No, he was an executive producer on Iron Man and Avengers and whatnot. I was like, wow, he's been in all the movies. I had no idea.
He's
man, that show was cool.
Touch, man. Like, I'm not sure what you flopped on, but like,
Lion King.
The episode with Ahsoka. Lion King was tight.
I'll give it a pass.
I didn't hate it.
That's not your fault. The Lions didn't have.
I didn't hate it.
They couldn't emote.
Yeah, they can't emote. I don't know what to tell you.
It looked scary. It looked like lions.
They're lions.
Yeah, but like Scar was when he walked.
Wait, was it? I still didn't see it. Were they singing?
Yo, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Lion
Yo,
King?
we gotta watch that together.
Really?
It's so bad.
No, it's not bad.
It's so bad. Yo, we gotta watch it together.
Okay. Sounds great.
We need to
All right.
we need to have a camera on your face. We need to have a camera on your face for reactions.
No.
Yes, they sing. They are singing and dancing.
So they're like, oh,
They are singing and dancing. Singing and dancing.
Straight
all the
face,
way.
just lying in it all the way.
Straight face, singing and dancing.
The one thing
Yo,
you can
I
always
promise
say for
you,
Disney,
Just feral
I
predators
promise
singing
you.
and dancing, right?
the one thing you
Shucking and
always see with
jiving,
Disney
dog.
is that they always put money into their production, so it looks like $1 million. When you watch that movie, you'll be like, I can see where the money.
Oh, it looks great. It looks great, but
So
they,
that will keep you invested to some extent, but it's still.
Let me say,
it's still
they missed
I
the
Lion
mark.
didn't
King.
get that from Flash, but
Okay, it's still the Lion King, but there are dramatic moments. Like to me, the Lion King when spoiler alert for Lion King, if you haven't seen the original,
I mean,
when
come on.
Mufasa
It's a
fell and Scar
30-year-old
threw him
movie.
into the that was more powerful for me on the animation
What?
than the live action.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it
of
was
course.
way more that little moments like that. But
that whole stampede.
when you see them singing and dancing, you're like, this joint looks amazing. This looks like it looks like lions and hyenas are walking around talking to each other, man. It looks amazing.
Uncanny Valley?
Like, I can't help but be invested.
Little Uncanny Valley.
I can't help but be invested with what's on the screen.
Woo.
Okay, so the Mandalorian was cool. The episode with Ahsoka. Are you guys excited for the Ahsoka?
Oh my
episode?
god, dude!
Yeah.
Yes,
Me,
I am.
I feel
Bro,
like they can.
I
I think
for
they're
the
gonna nail
Ahsoka
it.
show,
I think they're gonna nail
I
it.
didn't see a lot of
I
men in the
flew-
trailer.
I binged all of Rebel series and all the Clone Wars series I hadn't caught up on,
Clone
just so
Wars,
I can know
Clone Wars,
everything about Ahsoka. And I got the audio book for the Ahsoka book. I haven't read it yet. I'm getting that in before the show drops.
I'm not hating. It's
like
like Ahsoka.
ooh, like
but
Ahsoka's my.
I
number
didn't see a
one
lot
right
of men in the trailer. And the one thing I can say we liked about Mandalorian is that he was just a true hero. He wasn't like, there was no politics. It was just a straightforward Star Wars story about a bounty hunter who found something that could redeem him and save his child. And you know what I mean? Find something that was good about what he was doing.
Everything is politics.
Yeah, it was, but it wasn't. He was just the hero. He was doing what was right. And I think that's one of the big draws for Mandalorian. It was just a great story, no politics. The episode with Ahsoka was cool. Luke coming back. I knew Luke came back, but I didn't have context. And it was so dope.
That changes everything, right?
When he force crushed that joint. I said, crush that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like when he crushed the dude in the drain, like that's what you wanted from
Context. Wait, you haven't seen it?
Jedi.
No, I've seen.
my bad.
So I got through season. I haven't watched the current season.
Season 3 was cool.
So yeah, I've
Season
seen
3 was
season
alright.
1, 2, and is it just 3 seasons so far?
Yeah. So
Well, I count Boba Fett as part of Mandalorian.
It is
because
you have to watch it. Before
There's
season 3.
I haven't
a
watched
segment
Boba Fett.
of like 4 episodes that is Mandalorian.
Totally
Again.
devoted.
And plus,
It's
and
half
plus
Boba
the stuff
Fett,
you-
half
the stuff you
Mandalorian.
guys are talking about was spoiled a long time ago
Oh,
because internet.
Yeah,
You know,
I heard
so-
Luke was on it, but I just didn't
Yeah.
have context.
Bro.
Okay, so the show I was least disappointed about that I watched so far, Hawkeye. Like they didn't do anything to tie this thing into like what came before, like during Ultron and Avengers, and it like we were focusing on this guy. Have you seen Hawkeye?
Yeah,
Okay, you seen Hawkeye? Dude?
I tried.
And I didn't. I just couldn't get into the story because like
I
they
couldn't
were
finish it.
focusing on this girl.
It's
I was
super,
like, who is
it's super
she?
lame because
And they
I
didn't
mean,
use any of his cunning and detective like spy skills and
Do you
accuracy with
care?
the bow.
Do you care about spoilers? So,
Not for that one.
Well, it's not really a spoiler, but it's just like, the show isn't about Hawkeye from the Avengers. It's about Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
Right.
She's going to take the name
The
Hawkeye,
mantle.
and then she's going to be part of the Young Avengers eventually.
I
You
get
know,
it.
that
Are
was-
they
that was
going
a-
to
that
do
was
a
a
Young
vehicle.
Avengers show?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I'm not
Hawkeye-
sure if it's a show or a movie, but it's coming.
Hawkeye, as
Yeah,
far as
that
Clint, was
makes
a
sense.
secondary character in that show, and I was like,
Yeah, he was.
I don't
He
care
was.
about her.
But it wasn't about because it wasn't really about
And
him
it-
to begin
and
with. It was a vehicle for her.
I like it, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that she's a female. And I know that's what a lot of people might think. It's just I didn't grow with her through these movies. I grew with Clint. I grew with
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
He was the character that we were following. So when this girl just came out of nowhere, I was like, it just made
I
me.
think
I
that
didn't
was-
care.
To be fair,
Same for
to
me,
be
yeah.
fair, she's been around in the comics for a while.
Yeah,
And
but
I
so
did
is
like how
Laura. But you gotta
Yeah.
X-23. You gotta. Well, I guess this would be their way of easing it in. But I wouldn't expect them to call, say Wolverine, right?
And then
Here's a
look
Wolverine
at
show,
Laura.
and then Laura pops up in
Yeah.
there, and you're like, yeah,
Like
Technically.
we wanted Logan.
That's not what
I'm
I was
like, you're
for.
right. But you're like, you're right. But like, her name is Wolverine now.
Even though that joint would be dope, and I feel like it would be very different than this.
Well, I mean, we got
because if she's in that joint ripping into people, I'm like,
we got a way to ease her into that with Logan, the movie. But like, still, it's.
I would love to see that little girl as the next Wolverine. Like that little girl that was
she
in
is
Logan.
the next Wolverine.
Like, where's the movie? Like that movie came out years ago. Give me the movie already. Like she embodied the role. She was Wolverine's daughter in that joint, and like. Anyway, so the show I was most surprised by, and I wanted to say, I told Frank he had a specific opinion on this show. WandaVision, man.
What about?
Bravo, man. That was the show I was the most surprised by on that joint, man.
Yes.
Show was freaking
I had
awesome.
a positive opinion about WandaVision.
You did, but you were like, because I was like, well, oversaturation. And I still feel like that. I feel like Disney focused a lot more on the platform than the magic happens.
That was
in the
their
movies.
first, like, that was their first show.
The magic happens in the movies when there's a bunch of people to share the experience, and that's when you get reviews and word of mouth and the push of the movie. It doesn't happen at home, and so I didn't have context for WandaVision going into Doctor Strange, right? But like seeing her journey, she was scary in that joke. I was like, when she came out of the bubble and threw the drone at the guy. Remember the guy sent a missile letter or something?
It's a matter of just like, so wait, what did I say that
okay,
was
so getting back to that, you just happened to, you didn't say that you didn't like it. You just said that, did we really need that show? Because you could have told that story with a 15-minute, 20-minute.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I do remember saying that. I do remember saying that. Okay. I do remember
we talked about Doctor Strange right after. And I didn't see the show. But now that I've seen it and I watched Doctor Strange again, I was like, oh, Wanda was scary, man. She walked out of that bubble. I was like, oh, remember they like all the guys had their guns on the lasers.
That changes everything, doesn't it?
She made them turn the lasers and pointed at the guy. I was like, oh,
that changes how powerful she really was.
That changes the context for everything in the multiverse of madness.
I would not have been mad if that was a 2-part movie and we went to the movies to see that.
Right. That would have been cool, right? And I think that could be like a thing, right? Like, would they take like the whole thing with the storytelling for me is like the depth of the characters, right? And these characters, they have the time to build and give you time to relate to them. It makes it more real, right? And it matters more. Mm-hmm. Like you went into Multiverse of Madness looking at Wanda, like, why is she mad and why is she tripping?
Yeah.
Even on Multiverse,
but like when you saw that, John, and you see like the depths of her despair and when she was desperate,
when she gave up the sun,
changes
at the end, I was
everything.
like, I gotta say goodbye to her, man. They going to sleep.
And like, and from the beginning of the show and how it evolved through the time, through the episodes, and how everything,
and how you didn't know what was happening. Like the first 2 episodes, it was like slapsticky kind of. I'm like, what is this?
The first 2 episodes were just like straight confusion.
You know what happened?
You know, like
the guy spoke through the radio. He's like, Wanda, who's doing this to you, Wanda?
And
then things start unraveling.
Like,
yeah, you're like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And then you saw like, everything coming into color slowly. Yeah. Right? Because the first 2 episodes, I think, were in black and white, and then everything starts to slowly come into color.
As they change with the eras, like they change with the Technicolor era, and as they move through time.
And then she threw the lady out of the bubble, and she landed, and all the guys swarmed. I was like, bro, where's the next episode? I was like, when you gonna go to the next episode? I was remote, like,
faster.
Right.
Yeah, man.
That was awesome, man. That was a good show. I was like,
it was a really good show.
Surprised.
I agree.
I did not expect WandaVision to be like that. I still feel like Disney should have focused more on the movies. You could have told stories like this in the movies to expand upon the franchise instead of trying to build. I get it. The platform's important because you want the direct money, but the franchise is where the glamour is. That's where the franchise is the
show as well, and that's the thing.
Remember when you saw Infinity War?
It's not just movies. How good you felt. It's comics. It's books. It's novels. It's action figures. It's the entire world, right? The entire, like, I don't know. What do we want to call it? Like, it's all the verse, right? All of those things, and I think like you should exploit as much as you can as long as you have a good story to tell.
Which is that's why I was disappointed in Hawkeye, because they told that great story with Wanda and Vision. They could have done something similar with Hawkeye because we cared about Clint. You know what I mean? We saw he was there. He fought Thanos. He
I don't know what happened at the end. Hawkeye? He didn't die, did he?
Hawkeye?
Yeah.
No, he didn't die. It was
he just passed the mantle over to Kate.
I did like how she had his suit. She got the suit. I was like, oh, that's his Ronin suit.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. That was a little like context, like.
But I just wanted to update y'all. So next, I think I'm 1 episode in on Loki. Watch Loki.
Good.
Because I heard that's one of the better ones.
Yeah, it is.
And I still need to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
I definitely like Falcon and Winter Soldier, man.
Yeah,
for me, it's political. It's super political.
You didn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I loved
it. I'm gonna watch it.
I thought it was cool.
We talk about it, yeah.
Because speaking of which, we all saw The Flash today, and some people said they didn't like it, and some people said they did. Man, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the movie. You know what I mean? I thought it was all right. You know, solid 7.5 for me. I'll just go right off the top and give you a score. It was entertaining. Ballsy. You know, I didn't think it was boring.
That's too high.
I knew Ezra Miller's Flash, so it kept me invested on that part. Like we were saying, he's a jerk in real life. I'm just invested in the character that's in the movie and who we're seeing on the screen. And I was on the ride with him. Affleck popping up. I liked all the cameos, and it had some good action. And I know we're gonna get into it, but Supergirl was kind of imposing. I could watch a whole movie.
Let me say that you said your favorite part earlier was like Batman and stuff. Like I think she was probably my favorite part of that.
That's fair.
Like she had character depth, and I was pissed that they just like kind of tossed her off like that.
Right. I thought
spoilers, guys. Just so you know, spoilers.
Like brutally murdered over and over. I'm like, bro, easy.
I thought
about Zod.
I thought it was really cool.
Like, how is he doing it? Because she's him. They're the same. Like how's she going down to him each and every? Actually, there was a whole army of Kryptonians. That's why.
I thought it was really cool that like the way like that they had to like go get her, thinking that they were going to get Superman, but like everything about it spoke like, oh man, this is like a real way to like capture Superman and keep him at bay. In this like secret Russian facility, red sunlight, constantly draining her solar energy cells.
Yep.
So she can't absorb yellow sunlight. And I'm like, yo, this is wild. And it's like Batman's breaking into the prison. Batman and the Flashes are breaking into prison to free this superpowered individual. And I'm like, this is really cool. I liked all of that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I liked Supergirl in it too. I thought she was fine. She was brooding. She was just the right amount of mad.
Right. And she still had a streak of like goodness in her. She wanted to know, why did you save me? Right.
Yeah.
Like why when you saw me in there and I wasn't what you were looking for, why? And she still had that hope from
and I like that
from
about
from her
home.
And
yeah, that was wild too with the whole when she's talking to Zod and Zod's like, we needed the codex from one of your DNA. It was her or Kal-El. And so she's like, what happened to Kal-El? I was like, well, we intercepted his ship. She's like, what happened to him? She's like, he's like, the infant did not survive the procedure. And I'm like, yo, that's wild, man. Like, yo.
Well, she didn't know nothing about it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
For her, she's like, why do you want him? And then, wait, you killed him?
Yeah, you killed
that's all it came down to. Wait,
so there was two codexes because I thought
no. It was only they thought it was in Kal-El, but it was actually in her in this universe.
Okay, in this universe.
So they got Kal-El. They got to Kal-El first. They thought that it was in Kal-El. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So then while I guess they were trapped in the Phantom Zone or whatever, they got released somehow. And a little bit of plot hole there, but they got released somehow. And then, they encounter Supergirl, and it turns out that she's the one that has the codex inside her.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe in this universe, but I guess saying back to Ezra Miller saving her. Like, why did you save me? That's one of the things that endeared me to this Ezra Miller's version of Flash outside of his real life, is that we know Flash is a good person, so of course he's going to save her. He's a hero. You know what I mean? That's what the Flash does.
That is not what I get from this Flash.
I don't know. Maybe he was selfish. Sniveling. He was selfish because you caused all this. You guys
know Flashpoint, right? Yeah. So we know Flashpoint. This is Flashpoint.
Yeah.
So we know that he fucks up. He does the time travel thing, but that aside, this portrayal of Flash is my biggest issue with Ezra Miller and I guess the director.
This portrayal, every portrayal.
This portrayal, like this uncertain, shaky, nervous, bumbling wreck.
For me, it's generally, it's generally every portrayal. Because I mean, we've only
when are you going
in two movies, really. You know, we've only seen him in Justice League and this movie. But at the same time,
but we have context for Flash from other media and a whole series of TV shows. He doesn't have to be that guy, but he sure should have be this guy.
Yeah, he should. But I think he should have been that guy.
He should have been
the TV
that
show
because
that guy was perfect.
That's perfect.
That's
a hero
Barry
right there.
Allen right there.
He knows what he was doing.
So they went through the Flashpoint.
Coincidentally understand.
They went through the Flashpoint paradox in that show too. You know,
he understands his power. Yeah. He's just
I actually didn't watch it.
I never watched the show at all.
I never watched it. And I heard it's really good.
It's really good up until like season 5, and then it just kind of falls off.
That seems about right.
For 4 more seasons.
That seems about right for a show that goes on longer than
9 seasons. Yeah,
isn't that a WB show?
CW, yeah.
That's why I never got into it. I was like, I don't know what it's going to be like.
No, it's really good.
I heard it was good. I heard it was. But
it's really, really, really good up until like season 5. And then it starts falling off because it starts becoming the Iris West show.
I don't know. And that was one of the questions I had about should Zack Snyder be more involved in this Flash story, because I felt like the Flash was more of the Flash that we wanted to see in Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know what I mean? He understood his powers. He knew what he could do. Remember at the end, I got to go faster than the speed of light, Dad. You know what I mean? Like he took off and he did the act. In this movie, he was selfish though. He was kind of, because I'm like, you kept going back and you caused all this, man. You know what I mean? You did it. Like you're going on saying that the other Flash has to take this powers and get your powers and he's got to help you and we got to go do this. Well, you caused all this, so you are the main one who has to fix it. First of all,
he was only just trying to find his way back home.
And you know what? Beginning of the movie, I know Frank can feel me on this because I definitely took some notes. Hey, Dune 2 looks cool as a mug. But did you saw the trailer?
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm excited.
I wait to this. I wish I would have saw the first one in the theater because remember that was during COVID. It started streaming on HBO Max. So
now we get to see it in theaters.
I was like, bro, I'm going
the way it was meant to be seen.
I was like, bro, I'm going the first day because I'm glad it's coming out so quick. It doesn't feel like that long ago. Yeah, but that movie looks cool, man. I'm like, I'm on board.
Yeah,
and,
man. I guess talking about the Flash, man. Like so your question with the whole Zack Snyder influence.
Mm-hmm.
I really only think he would have been able to help with the cinematography and the visuals. I don't think he could have helped with the writing. The writing for me was a big problem in this movie. Just with everything in general, because the writing, drove everything forward, right? So,
you saw Zack Snyder's Justice.
We did, yeah.
You finally saw it.
We finally watched the whole thing, and you're right. It's a completely different.
It's a super different movie.
It was a completely different movie.
Yeah, it's a super different movie.
That don't feel like a new
and honestly, that movie, watching the Zack Snyder, is the only thing that made me actually go see this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I had no intention of watching that until I watched the Zack Snyder, partially because of the Ezra Miller dramas, which I don't really know every detail, but I know he's the word groomer keeps popping up. Anyway, but the way they did that movie and the way Zack Snyder laid it out,
especially the end, like the Flash is the hero,
and I thought
he was the hero in the movie.
I thought we were going there.
Me too.
And
Me
that's
too.
What messed this up?
Yeah, he was too bumbly and stuttery and
after a scene like that, at the end of Justice League, you would have thought he would have been more capable. Like more confident in himself.
He was,
Zack
Snyder's Justice League. He was more comfortable.
I'm saying after the end of Justice League, you would have thought he would have been like, oh shit, I can do this. Like I'm going to own more of my powers now. I'm going to own more of myself now. But now, like you said, he's like a bumbling, just really insecure.
And they were treating him like the janitor at the beginning. He was a cleaner, but I'm like, that's not a bad thing, Flash, because like that's how powerful you are. Like, what did y'all think about the baby waterfall, bro?
That scene was every fun. Time you have a CGI baby, it's a problem.
It was, but the CGI was horrible in that scene.
CGI baby,
just the visual, a room full of babies falling 18 stories. That was a cool scene, man. I'm not gonna lie, that was original. I never seen anything like that. You knew he was gonna solve the problem the whole time. Like you're like, okay, so how are you gonna do this, Flash?
Yeah,
you know?
they're not gonna let
put the baby in the
microwave.
microwave.
Let 10 babies die. At the
You know what I mean?
movie.
Like, so I'm
can't
like, how
recover
is he
from
gonna
that.
How is he gonna finish? But you've never
not
seen
gonna recover
babies
from that.
actually falling.
I was honestly more impressed with the scene that happened right before it, where he finally, because they did do some cool things in the movie, like the very beginning where where you're about to see the Flash title card come up when he's about to run, and then it goes away because somebody has to take his attention.
Yeah.
There's kids to the side were taking his attention, so you're like, oh, that's funny. But then when they finally had the title card come up and he takes off, like the sense of speed that you got when he was running, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. You know, I'm like, I hope the rest of the movie is kind of like this, and it wasn't.
So I have a completely different take. I hate that. Like, I don't like that. Like, that it's not even the running style, because I know it's weird, but they're like, whatever, there's logic behind it somehow. But the way that whole
running
thing,
style.
not the running style, the way they portray the Speed Force. I want to see him running fast through the streets, not sliding.
Or skating.
Skating.
Yeah.
The skating.
He's
I don't like
skating.
the skating.
Yeah, he's speed skating. Yeah.
I don't like that. I thought he was like dashing. And
like
to
running.
me, that visual, like, I thought he was running. He's not doing like this slipping. Like you said, it's like every step he takes, he slides
if he's
like
running
a mile.
If he's running that
every
fast,
foot. I thought he was just.
If he's running that fast, he would slide. You know what I mean? Like if he's really that fast with the Speed Force, I mean, it's not going to be individual steps. You're going to go
sliding
beyond
to me
to sliding.
Doesn't show control, right?
I feel like the very least he should be sprinting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel like the long distance runs were like that, where it could have been a little more cooler. But like I can watch Flash just moving around the room with the lightning force all day. Like
that's
he's
fine.
in a room and he's doing something cool.
But that slow motion,
I can watch a movie of that.
Speed Force,
it just looks
running
cool.
thing. I don't like that. Like to me,
I hate this running motion.
It takes me out of it.
You know what I mean? Like just the flow and
I get that.
It's kind of weird. I do too.
That look at funny part was when he lost it, Joe.
And he thought he still had it.
And he was trying to run around the room.
Yeah.
All right, that Joe was funny though. It was like shit.
Yeah, man. I had I had problems with the writing in the movie. Like the stuff with his casting for me was not the best in general. But like the casting of his parents, they recast his dad, and then they cast his mom. His mom is all of a sudden from Spain. Like, where did that come from? Barry Allen has never been in Spanish ever. Like ever. Look it up.
Maybe some hype for the Blue Beetle. Maybe.
I don't know.
It's always politics.
It was definitely.
Real quick, do you guys have faith in the Blue Beetle after this installment of DC? Are you going to go see Blue Beetle?
Blue Beetle.
I'm going to see it.
It looks fine. I mean, it looks like it's just marketed not to us. It's marketed more to kids, I think. You know, so I don't think it's. I think it's. I just feel like fine.
Blue Beetle's like behind my generation anyway.
Yeah. He always was. This
version
was always behind our generation. We always had like Ted Cord, but like that Blue Beetle was never really this cool.
Did you guys like the Flash's suit? I didn't like it. I didn't like the upgrade. I was like, he looked cooler in Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
To me, every time that suit was on the screen, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah, it just felt like too tight. You could see how tight the actor was. That's my problem with Batman's arm all the time. Except for this Batman. In the beginning of the movie, that Batman was dope.
That was honestly, that depiction of Batman was what I wanted, right?
Everything I wanted in Batman.
Yeah, the Batfleck, I like that.
The bat grapple hanging on to the, you know what I mean? That's right. I want to see my Batman
driving his motorcycle through the flame or popping on the other side with the cape. I like that.
I like when he went up to the corner on the in the Flash and took the corner. You know what I mean? But Christian Bale has the best bat cycle. When that wheel rotated on the front when he took the corner on the, you know what I mean? In the chase, that was dope. I was like, you ain't catching Christian Bale.
Nah, for me. So I'm definitely biased here, but Michael Keaton, Batman. That's my childhood. That's the first movie I ever saw in theaters.
He was so cool in this movie.
Like you have no idea. Cool. You have no idea, like all of the callbacks that they did, just really little nuances. Yeah. One of the biggest things that you saw was when when he's telling the two Flashes, like, all right, your parachute's attached to your chair, and he's like, where's yours? And he's like, please. And so he just drops But the cool thing is that when he's dropping out of the sky, you see the bat plane is silhouetted by the moon. And I'm like, yo, this is straight callback to the first movie.
True. Remember
when he clipped the balloons and he flies up, he goes to the moon and then he comes all the way down again. I'm like, yo, let's go.
At that point,
it just pauses right at the moon.
Even the dialogue line. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
No, it's not even like that. Like,
how much?
I wish they didn't show that part. How much do
you
weigh?
weigh a lot more than 100.
How much do you weigh,
dude? Like I was catching those lines. I was like, he said that.
When he said that, the way he pulls out his same
grappling
gun, and I'm like, yo, it's the same. Come on, guys.
It was the same armor room that they walked in when they first got
there. I'm like, this is amazing. He had all of his. He had the suits from the 2 movies that he was in.
The same computer.
And I'm like, yo, let's go. This is so good.
Did he have the builders of the Batcave killed? I mean, because somebody had to help Bruce. It wasn't just him and Alfred. Who built the Batcave, man? Like, because I mean, he's got steps and scaffolding and all. I mean, come on,
Money built that.
Yeah, money built it, but like he must have had the builders killed because there's no way he constructed.
Hey, man, all the
ones
they were all immigrants and they left, right? They're not there no more, right?
They don't discuss it, but I think Bruce Wayne had to kill.
I'm sorry, you don't think Bruce Wayne used immigrant labor out there, Joe?
I think
he definitely used immigrant labor and sending them back after he done. Like, I'm sorry, dude, he's a capitalist.
Yeah.
Besides all the nostalgia, like, yo, every time Michael Keaton was on screen, he had such presence for me, man.
Batman was there,
like he would like when that first fight scene with him with Michael Keaton Batman was fucking amazing.
In the kitchen?
Not in the kitchen. Not in the kitchen. When they first dropped down into the prison.
Oh yeah.
Yo, that fight was so dope. So dope. I was like, come on, guys. Like, this is so cool. I was clapping. I had a huge smile on my face the entire time.
I didn't care about the Batman beginning. I didn't know the actor. That wasn't Affleck. That was on the Batmobile chasing the guy at the beginning. You know what I mean? I'm glad they showed Affleck. I'm glad they showed Michael Keaton. I'm glad they showed George Clooney. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can blend all this. It's the multiverse. You can do that
Jackie Chan.
I just my whole issue with this movie in particular, I just wish they took themselves a little bit more serious, and I wish they took the universe, like the causality. Think about how many stories you can tell out of this. You know what I mean? It was a great analogy when Batman poured the noodles in there and then poured the
that was cool.
Sauce.
And
it showed you how the multiverse works.
That joke super well.
Yeah, he explained it. Like, I was very interested.
Parallel,
so that's what's happening.
And he's like, and I'm like, this makes sense because he was like, it goes both ways. You know, like you change your past, you change your future. You change your future, you change your past as well.
That's why I said Batman's always the coolest because he was smart. He figured it out right there. Broken down, Bruce Wayne figured it out.
Already know.
Joe, all right. So let me say though,
because traveling through the multiverse is kind of like this. Then he drops like a whole plate of
pasta.
That
was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, not Thomas Wayne.
I know, and I kept waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah,
I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. Be like, all right, so I'm actually Thomas Wayne. I was like, why does he keep playing? And through the whole movie, I was just like, so when's he gonna say it?
Dude,
why he lying? I was like, why he lying?
I also thought like the way he looked, I'm like, he looked perfect for like a Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that they could have like done something smart about that, you know, like recast him as Bruce Wayne and
like this feels
Batman
like
Beyond.
I'm not honestly putting him in this movie feels like a misuse of bringing back somebody like that.
Oh yeah, it was purely for the nostalgia.
Like I felt the entire time I was like, they're playing me. Like I know what y'all doing. This is amazing. This is great. But how dare you? I know you saw how we felt when fucking Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield
showed up in No Way Home.
We felt it. Yeah. You saw it. You tried to do it too.
You trying to do it again?
DC, you guys, man. Like, DC, man. Can't do that.
That's a two-way street too, because like
you playing me.
They always try to draw you in with nostalgia. The problem is when you overdo it, right? Like
nostalgia works though.
Like it worked in this movie. I didn't mind all
when
the
they
nostalgia.
brought Luke back in Mandalorian. Well, we all were
that
like,
worked too. But think about the cinematic, like the nostalgia over and over. Chewie, remember Chewbacca? Remember Leia? Remember Palpatine? Remember so they messed up on that. Like it's okay to do it once. You can do the nostalgia thing, like they did Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Cool.
Correction.
You can't do it movie after movie.
Great every time they popped up again.
In The Flash?
In Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars.
I think the only issue was the writing and
her
other
being
issues.
Palpatine's granddaughter. I'm like, really?
I was on all honesty.
in a story as rich as Star Wars, we need Palpatine again. You've been showing me like Luke and Leia and all this for 3 straight movies now. Now we got to go back to the old movies to get Palpatine.
You don't understand how much of a badass
Snoke was way
is, though.
He is a badass. I'm not
denigrating
Palpatine,
you don't understand.
But Snoke was way more interesting in that point. Like he was manipulating them to the Force to see each other. Like when they killed Snoke, I was like, oh man, you weren't. I was disappointed.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed too. I was like, so what we going?
Right. So what are we doing here? Like, so Palpatine's been running. Palpatine's awesome. He's cool. But
I think a lot of that had to do with. The director battle that was going on, where JJ did the first one, and then Rian Johnson completely changed the second one, and then JJ had to come back to do the third one because they also had a plan in place too that it was supposed to be JJ, Ryan, and then Colin Trevorrow, who did the Jurassic World movies, and I really wanted to see Colin Trevorrow's Star Wars movie because he was going to call it Episode 9: Duel of the Fates, and he literally was going to bring Darth Maul back, like legit bring him back, and they had a script, again they had a script. They had a script floating around. It's not a full script, but they had like half a script floating around. It looks fucking awesome. Awesome. If you can catch it, read it.
All right, I'll check it.
It looks fucking awesome. I was just like, yo, this. I really wanted to make this episode 9 instead of what we got. But sorry, tangent.
Yeah. We're gonna talk more Star Wars later because they got Acolyte coming out and people got dramas with that. And
one thing with Flash,
I need opinions. I got questions. Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
I don't even. I gotta catch me up on that. But so the Flash, like I felt like in the flashback, because he said he was there during Man of Steel when Zod attacked. I'm like, you could have done more to help out with Zod, bro. Like you were there. I know you didn't have your armor situation figured out, and you were new Flash. For that, I'm like, bro, you didn't reveal yourself to Superman. Hey, I'm here. I got these powers. I can help you. You know what I mean? Like, tell me what to do. Like. You couldn't help out.
This is something I need to talk about too. Sorry,
Iris. She's so beautiful. She popped up in the movie. I was like, hey, Iris.
But my problem with that. Sorry, let's finish your point because you had it. That's an interesting point. Like because it would have been cool if he'd have like popped up and he'd have like maybe done a little bit more. He could have saved more people.
And you would have to assume that all these metahumans.
You only saved one guy,
right? You saved one guy.
I feel like
and now you're saving babies.
I feel like the still the whole thing, like, because Superman is going through the same thing with the whole like I'm learning my powers. I don't know what I'm capable of yet. That's pretty valid.
But they had an unassumed amount of time that could have passed, so we don't know either way whether it was short or long. So
remember, it might have been like a day, literally.
Yeah,
it might have been the same week.
The same week.
But by that point, you would have to assume other metahumans were there. Where was Diana? Where was Arthur?
I mean, we knew where Diana was.
Cyborg probably wasn't there.
We knew where Diana was. She just wasn't.
But that was a world.
She wasn't there.
Threat. Like you should have shown up for that. I don't know. I just felt I don't know. Where was your responsibility for that? You know. Flash maybe because he's new, but Diana, you ain't got no excuse, Diana. You should have been there.
Yeah, you can fight a Kryptonian girl. Come on.
I like how they addressed. Remember when so the Flash got remember the new Flash who got Barry's powers moved Barry and he started throwing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you always wonder like, how do you grab somebody and move them at superhuman speed? Like, wouldn't that snap your neck or like give you a whiplash or like? Do you have to hold their head and move them? Yeah, right. He did that.
Holding the neck.
No, just real quick flashback.
That was great.
When Quicksilver popped up in WandaVision, I said, yo,
wasted opportunity. Wasted opportunity.
Because I knew where it was going.
Wasted
already.
opportunity.
I'm like, oh man, it's
they
not going to go anywhere.
Completely wasted that opportunity. Yeah. That was the ticket. Now you see, if they did that, then I would have said it makes sense for the TV shows to exist because this would have tied in the X-Men.
It would have.
So Marvel and Sony, they know. You guys know. But you're not doing it. Like, what? Just come to an agreement and do it.
Capitalism.
Like, how dare you?
Right.
Just dangle that shit in our face and then say, like, I didn't mean anything.
My man Pietro gonna show up and y'all not gonna expand?
Yeah, man. Ralph.
That was crazy, man.
Let me talk about Iris, though, man. So, I know they didn't have a lot of time, but they did have at least 2 movies and a handful of opportunities to try to build some chemistry between these two.
And there was none.
And there was none at all. Yep. And all of a sudden, she's like, you should take me to dinner. I'm sorry, but she don't look like she that desperate. Like she's not desperate. She's got standards, and he does not meet them.
Yep.
Now I just wanted to be like, I feel like that was so forced, and I get like destined love and all that good stuff, right? But like
even the other Flash said, "Are we gonna marry that girl?" Yes.
But it was
eventually, yes, you
will.
will.
There was nothing endearing. There was nothing endearing about him to draw her to him.
Yeah, like
and it's like because he was just bumbling through the. Oh well, I mean, I could meet you for lunch, and it's like she's trying to have a serious conversation with you. Like, what do you talk to her about something serious so we can see?
Like he kept giving me autistic vibes, like a bad, like a hard autistic vibe, right, man. And it was just like he can't talk to people.
Yeah.
He can't talk. But it's not just her. He can't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
He can't look at anybody.
This is a lack of long-term vision on probably the director of this movie's part, because coming off the back of Zack Snyder's Justice League, you should have taken Flash's character in a more serious direction to drive home the
at least a more
seriousness of this
direction.
point. Yeah, like I know who
I am. Let me just say though, not that autistic vibes is a bad thing. I just want to say like if you're doing an autistic. Don't do autistic Barry. That doesn't make sense. But like if you're gonna do an autistic hero, then do that.
Yeah.
There's space for that. Yeah. But don't make him like a genius / like
who may or may not be on the spectrum.
Yeah, just call it and then do it. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, because if he's a super genius, he's a super genius.
He doesn't there's nothing about him that made me think he was a super genius.
True. There was only one.
There was one sheet of paper. He was like, "There's this paper here," and it was like, "Oh, what the fuck does that mean?" Like, great. I guess that explains you're a genius.
Yeah.
You didn't even write on it. Like it was printed. You got that on Chat GPT. Like,
so man, even all these DC movies, man, I like the portrayal of the Krypton technology in the military, man. The Kryptonians were kicking ass in this movie, man. Like they were cool, man. There was at no point that I think Flash and those guys were gonna beat them. I'm like, you're not beating an army full of Kryptonians with Supergirl, 2 Flashes, and one that barely knows himself, and Batman. Even though Batman, that rotating cockpit. You know what I mean? That was tight.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
Awesome,
that was a nice modification.
I liked his flying scenes. Yeah,
that was nice. So I had 2 very big issues with the Kryptonians this time around. Mm-hmm. One, Michael Shannon phoned it in. He was not the Zod that he was in Man of Steel.
Just there for the paycheck.
He was there for the fucking check, and we all knew it, right? The second thing that I didn't like is that there were huge inaccuracies to them getting their powers so early. Like you remember in Man of Steel, they didn't like Feora and Zod didn't really manifest their powers until their helmets got broken.
Mm-hmm. Right. They still had them on.
Like, but Zod being of the military mind that he has, started manifesting his powers quicker.
You can see him figuring it out
because he was figuring it out quicker than Kal-El could figure it out. That's why like within like minutes he was on the same level as Kal-El with his suit gone from him. Because he was able to absorb the sunlight, he was able to absorb all the energy, and start flying and shooting laser beams and doing and be super strong.
Still, such a good movie.
It's so good. It's so good, man.
Superhero movie.
It's so good.
That one, like
Avengers.
Civil War.
But you have to put Avengers there.
Endgame,
like
Civil War.
Man of Steel is like
No Way
definitely
Home.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah. And of course Across the Spiderverse.
Yeah, of course.
We'll talk about that too.
But like those 2 things, like in this one, the Kryptonians had their suits on the entire time, their helmets were on the entire time. Nice. Yeah, they're super strong on Earth, but like not the level of strong that that was portrayed in this movie. Like they were able to like run through Supergirl, who absorbed solar energy without a suit that would hinder that. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem fair.
He was like, take her up to the roof. I'm like, dude, we've seen Superman soak up solar energy 1 million times. Why don't you fly up into orbit? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing on the roof of the can fly? Like,
well, just remember, she was under the red sunlight in her chamber for like such a long time. Like she looked like gaunt. She was like super thin and
I would like
no
to see
energy.
A whole movie of her. She was cool.
I know.
She was cool.
Like, where's her movie at? Where's Kara's movie?
She was cool.
Considering DC is about to crash and burn for like
I still have faith.
One thing I also wanted to quickly bring up is that so before this movie happened, I actually saw on Reddit someone theorized the whole Reverse Flash or Dark Flash thing well before the movie came out, just by the trailers. And everything you saw in the trailer, everything I saw in the trailers, at least from that point, was very indicative of that, with like, the other Barry wearing yellow as his color scheme, different hairstyle, different personality. Really, he's more like optimistic and a little more confident in himself at the very least.
Definitely,
I was waiting for
a little bit more frivolous too.
Yeah,
definitely more frivolous.
I
was waiting for him to show up.
Like and just the fact that there were two Flashes, one with blue lightning, one with yellow lightning, and it's like.
True.
Come on, guys! Like this is starting to become very obvious that one of them is going to go bad.
When he started to like lose his temper in the time conundrum thing, I was like, "Oh God, here it is!" I thought he was about to snap, man.
There we go.
And then when he zipped off and Dark Flash stepped out, I said, "Oh my God, dog. Like I thought they just broke the fourth wall out this joint, bro. Like this movie is up there." And then the other Flash came back, so I was like, "Well, who was this?" So wait, he's him and you're you. So who's me? I am me. You know what I mean? Like, so nah, man, you. I just told you. Yeah. That movie's always gonna be a classic dude. Oh, that scene.
Say, I'm speaking to you.
Say, who are you?
To you. I am me.
I told you.
It's like I told you, I am me. No, you. You. Who are you? That is you.
Who, me? I'm about to shoot you. Everybody in here. Yeah, that was funny. Y'all gonna watch that scene.
Was fucking funny. Man. So I think so one thing that was kind of interesting about the whole chronosphere thing.
That was cool.
It did look cool. That was
cool. So one thing I thought that was really interesting about that is that you remember the first time when Barry is in it and he's trying to kind of like explore it, and he's about to go to like a different place. And then Dark Flash knocks him out of it back into his own reality. So I liked that because that was pretty important if you look at it, because at the end, when Barry is in the chronosphere and he goes to the timeline that he feels is the correct one, and it turns out that it's not the correct one, potentially now, if we don't have a Dark Flash basically pointing him in the right direction of where his actual reality is, Barry's lost in time and space.
That's what I was thinking.
He's lost in time and space forever now. So this is like, in essence, a way to wrap up the Spiderverse with this movie, because he can never go back to the original timeline, but it also leaves it open for another Flash movie potentially.
The problem, though. I don't want to wrap it up now. I want to see what happens. Like, how does he figure his way out of this?
It's under new management.
Other
management.
Like they showed Christopher Reeve, like they showed Nicolas Cage. I'm like, where are we going with this? That
was cool to you.
Yeah, that was dope. I was like, so. I mean, but are we gonna see Thomas Wayne? Like, are we gonna they could make a whole new movie off
as long as they don't have Ezra Miller in it. I'm fine.
That's what I'm saying. At the same time, they closed it, but they also left it open for more possibilities.
I like when Dark Flash punched him out of there, because you noticed it, and they totally went away from that. Like he punched him into a timeline, and then for like 55 minutes of the movie, you never saw him again. I was like, who was that guy who punched him out of the timeline? And then when they went back to him, like when he first popped up, I was like, "Oh my God!" Like he's been corrupted by the time conundrum.
I also thought it was interesting that when other Barry started having those, like he started having the shit sticking out of him, and it's like, is that significant in any way? And then you see Dark Flash show up with all the fucking shit sticking out of him.
So
and like,
explain this.
That's Barry.
So new Flash zips off. He has the things in him. Dark Flash shows up. He's corrupted. Then the other Flash shows back up. He still has things in him. So who's Dark Flash?
Barry.
Who's that guy?
It's Barry.
Which Barry?
The second Barry.
So how did he come back?
What do you mean? How did he come back?
How did the second Barry come back to be with Dark Flash and the real Flash?
Because they existed at different points in time.
He was further in the future.
Regular Flash have another person that exists?
No.
When Barry,
shouldn't he have multiples of people that exist that could show up?
No. Well, yes, but they are within their own timeline, trying not to fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know,
they kept going back.
It's about the Nexus
constrained, right? That's why when he died, the other one just fell apart.
Exactly.
That's why I hate how that timeline
chopped his timeline off for being further on. But if he continued to exist, he'd have kept going back and forth. And they're saying, they're saying that he was doing that for like 1,000 years.
Think about what Batman said. Think about what Batman said. You kill it. You change your future. You change your past. You change your past. You change your future.
Mm-hmm.
If once the second Barry jumped in front of original Barry and got killed, the other one faded away.
Yeah,
that was his future. But actually, I shouldn't even say it's future. His I don't know.
Because I'm like, if it can branch off
like a crazy person,
if it can branch off 3 crazy ways, can it? By that, it can branch off infinite ways.
It can branch off an infinite number of ways.
You can have 50 Barrys out there.
Yes, you can.
But when he showed back up,
I said,
when second Barry showed back up after Dark Barry, I was like, I'm confused.
They existed.
I thought that was him.
Dark Flash is constantly running around time and space with all the infinite multiversal possibilities. He's running around time and space trying to fix that point in time where Supergirl and Batman died.
Right.
But second Barry is not aware of that yet until the very end, when he sees Supergirl and Batman die for the first time. And then he's like, "Nah, we got to fix this." So he goes back. And now he's starting to jump back and forth. They eventually, now that the two of them, or the same person, are running back and forth through the chronosphere, they're going to meet each other. Because the chronosphere was a very small place.
Yeah.
If you look at it. But it had infinite opening paths to different multiverses.
Yeah.
It's just the Nexus.
I got it. I was just like, so why aren't there a million Barrys?
Because they are in their
I thought it diminished
timelines.
that moment a little bit, because remember, second Flash started losing his temper. No, I'm going to go back. You don't tell me what to do. And you were like, okay, this is where Reverse Flash is going to show up.
Right.
Then he zipped off and Dark Flash showed him. I said, oh, man. And then when second Flash showed back up, I was like, well, it kind of took the power of that moment away from him, because he was in his anger and he zipped off and he was trying to stop him. Edward was trying to stop him.
Because you realize,
and then he zipped off and came back corrupted, and you were like, this is why I was trying to stop you. But then you showed back up anyway. So I was like, so this was going to happen anyway, you know?
No,
Dark Flash was going to happen anyway.
It didn't take the power of the moment away, really, because you realize that is Barry. That's just another Barry running around trying to fix things. It's the same Barry.
The same Barry.
It's the same Barry. It's the same Barry that had the shit sticking out of him.
Right.
But how long has he been there? We don't know.
How do you not get an infection?
So how did other Barry show back up?
It looks like all those scars were his armor after a while.
So how did other Barry show back up? If other Barry took off to become Dark Barry, that's what set him off on becoming Dark Barry, because he had those things in him.
Yes.
He came back as Dark Barry, had more of those things in him.
They exist at different points in time.
How did other Barrys show back up with the same things in them? What were you doing that whole time you were running?
Wait, time out. Because that Barry wouldn't exist if not for... Because he made him, right? This is throwing me off.
Yes.
This is a problem with time conundrums, dog.
Yes, the original made him.
How does he make him if he... How does he make him if he didn't exist?
What?
So there's an answer to that question.
Right.
So there's an answer to that question. So it's original Barry's fault, completely, 100%.
Because he messed up with the original
timeline. But he also gave powers to the Barry and to the alternate Barry, because he said, if I don't give you powers, then I might not have powers when I go back. So I need to give you powers, and today's the day. And so let's do it. So he gave him powers, but he gave him powers otherwise. What's that?
He wouldn't have gotten powers.
He wouldn't have gotten powers. He was on a completely different path.
But that's what I'm saying.
He would not have been the Flash in that multiverse.
But exactly.
And his mom was alive because there was no Flash point thing happening.
If his that's what
I'm saying.
That's my point, though. Because if he didn't give him powers, right?
The only one was Batman.
If he didn't pull him out of his path to make him give him powers, to put him on a path to give him powers, he wouldn't have gotten powers. Right? So the only way he got powers was because Barry gave him...
Because original Barry fucked it up and gave him powers.
but he only gave him powers because he knocked him out of the timeline, out of the
what he was going to
when he was going to go. Remember, he was going back.
He was going.
Yeah, he was going back to
because he realized he fucked up. He was like, I gotta go back, and he was like, nope, and he checked him out.
But that was before. That was before this. That was before he gets to alternate Barry's timeline.
Yeah,
that was way before.
Because he went
when Dark Flash knocks him out.
Hold on.
Different points in time and space. Different points in time and space.
All right, he went back. All right, sorry, let me think. He went back in time, right? And he put the can in the basket, right? Mm-hmm. And he was going back, right? He put the can in the basket and he was going back. And then that's when Barry checked him out.
Right.
And so if that means that just the can in the basket, which did save his mom and made it so that Barry was not going to get powers. Right. So he set that in motion. All right. Barry set that in motion. Mom was alive.
For his timeline. Not the other one.
Well, no, but that's just.
No, it's not. It's not the same.
Not the same time.
Not the same timeline.
Wait, but he has to go back to that timeline to fix it, which also puts him back in another.
In a different timeline.
With George Clooney.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. You're right. So
that's why I'm saying at the end of it, he's lost now.
What you're saying is it's like a bowl of spaghetti.
Right. You change your future, you change your past, you change your future. When you change your future, you change your past. The same Barry
still at the end.
He didn't learn shit.
I was like, why are you still doing it?
He's lost forever. You're right.
He's lost forever in space and time.
That's why I don't want it to end though. I'm like, you can tell infinite stories off of this. You know
I hope you understand.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
That spaghetti noodle analogy was the best way because when you looked at the noodles, some of them were running parallel. A lot of them were crisscrossed over. So you're like, oh, okay, well, there will be some timelines that have similarities, and there's going to be other that are wildly divergent. And that's just what it's going to have to be. One thing I'll say about him taking the tomatoes out of the basket, whether you like his mom or not, that was sad as hell when he had to take the tomatoes out the basket. And I was like, oh, man, like, how do you make that choice? That's what I compared Spider-Man to this. How do you make that choice? You know what I mean? Like, the choice to kill your dad or not, that's no choice. You know what I mean? But Ezra Miller, Flash made that choice. And did he make the right choice? Could you have done that?
You know what the question?
Kind of killed his mom by taking those tomatoes out the basket.
You know what question? You know what question is really
sealed her fate.
Well, his mom was already dead.
You know what question is really going to make your noodle?
Still another mom.
You know what question is really going to bake your noodle? Hey, you know what question is really going to bake your noodle? Who killed his mom?
Spaghetti noodle.
Who did kill his
mom? Who killed his mom? You know who I think killed his mom? Him.
I can see that. Dark Flash.
It was either Dark Flash or this Barry killed his mom.
That's why I don't want this movie to end. You see how you just blew my mind right there? I'm like, Dark Flash killed his mom.
Because he would have to know the exact point and he would have to know the exact moment that his dad went to the grocery store and because the tomatoes were forgotten.
Other Flash.
He took the tomatoes out. He went back home. He killed his mom because he thought this is the only way that he could get back to his original timeline. Maybe other Flash
did it because he got to a point on his path to become Dark Flash that he had to let her.
Possibly.
He had to kill her to
diverge
the timeline.
That's possible
in a way that will.
Because the funny thing is, we never ever know.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that until right now. Who killed his mom?
Because in the comics, it's Reverse Flash.
Yeah,
that kills her.
That's all I was thinking.
I thought that guy he was turning into Reverse Flash. Who was he supposed to be if not Reverse Flash?
They call him Dark Flash in the movie.
Why did he show back up? I feel like that could have been Dark Flash and Reverse Flash when other Flash showed back up because
it's the same person.
Own individual guy.
It's the same other Barry. It's the same person.
I guess, but that means any Barry that comes is going to have a diverge like. The Barry that showed up and messed up the timeline originally, I hated how he couldn't dodge that lightning strike when he gave the other Barry his powers. I was like, you're the Flash. You can't dodge lightning. Like, you're running at the speed force. Like, and the Flash caught him the lightning caught him in the back and caught both of them. And you see the other Barry start healing and he lost his powers. And I'm like, you couldn't dodge lightning, bro? Like, aren't you the seasoned veteran who's showing him how to get his powers? He can't dodge a lightning strike.
He was trying to keep that Barry in the chair. And that Barry was struggling.
He's saving babies that are falling 16 stories. Like, while eating hot dogs and pizza and whatnot. You know what I mean?
But
I don't know.
the other
That's the problem with time divergence, and that's why I want the story to end. You can tell so many different stories off of this, man.
As long as we get rid of that Flash guy,
I feel you. I'm just not a fan of his portrayal. Too bumbly.
Just bring in Wally West.
Take yourself a little more
somebody
seriously.
Else.
Because you do.
Anybody else.
They make Wally West good.
I meant to tell you guys. So I'm kind of seeing it from a different perspective. Okay, I got a question about our studio engineer over here. Did Scarlett go with you guys to see the movie?
No, she didn't see Flash.
Okay,
wait,
so
which one?
The Flash.
No, she didn't see Flash.
So me and my son saw this today at noon. So
about
them being so slapsticky and humory, I'm 39. I'm sitting in my seat. There were very few moments where he laughed. Where he phased through the floor. That was funny. A lot of people laughed in there. Remember he accidentally he started laughing and phased through the floor. Maybe when George Clooney showed up, they got some claps, some laughs. But like there were a bunch of parts where like remember where the Flash made a suit out of Batman's suit and he looked at the real Flash when he gave his ring back and his mask was all screwed up.
Yeah,
my son laughed. He was finding a lot of humor parts in that movie, and I'm like,
well,
they're making this for kids, bruh. He laughed like those slapstick humor moments. We think they're corny and cheesy, but like my son, 11 years old, was laughing at a lot of these. But when he turned and his mask was all screwed up, he was looking.
That shit was funny.
It was funny. It was a little funny.
I laughed at it.
When he phased through the floor, that joint was funny.
Yeah,
that was funny because he was like, "Oh, he just phased through the floor."
No, when he was talking, like I don't know.
Yeah, I know
the things he said wasn't funny.
I get it.
When he tried to deliver a joke, that just didn't land.
It's like
when he tried to say the lines, it didn't work.
Yeah, that's my problem with Andrew
the
Garfield
and
Gwen. I think in the first Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, they were just bumbling back for. Well, I mean, if you want to meet me after Scarlet, oh yeah, I can totally. I mean, if you want, only if you want to. You know what I mean? Like, have a conversation, people.
Nah, dude,
stop bumbling back and forth.
Even though they look like they're in their 30s, you gotta remember these are still high school kids.
Yeah, I got no
awkward as fuck.
But not the Flash.
Gwen.
Flash has saved the world. He's
but Flash
time.
Isn't. He's
seasoned.
Strange for no reason.
Yeah, and it's just like be a hero. I like. That's why I love Batman. I love every time Batman was on the screen. I was 10 toes down, man.
Yeah.
When he took down that chased that thing on the Batmobile, got on top, knocked the dudes out, went off the side, used the Batarang to climb up. I said, "That's my Batman. That's what I want to see in a Batman movie. I want to see Batman
right
cool
there,
superhero stuff.
That's my Batman.
Using his gadgets. At the end, when Michael Keaton's like sticking explosives on the Kryptonian.
Yeah.
Batman don't have.
I knew it wasn't gonna work.
He don't have super strength, but
we all knew it wasn't gonna work.
It's like under the red hood.
The fact that he did it,
you have to kind of even the playing field
and
with explosives.
The fact at the very last one too, like he always has a hidden one somewhere.
Yeah,
and the one in the back of the head, you're like, yo, totally a Batman thing to do.
I don't have super strength, so I have to use one of his most powerful weapons is plastic.
A bomb.
Explosives. Yeah, like I'm slapping that thing on everything. Cyborg, Superman, the Flash. I'm gonna slap a bomb to your chest. Like I can't punch you in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Stick a bomb. You didn't know you had a bomb
right on your back of your neck. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, there's another bomb somewhere on your body that you're not gonna know about.
Didn't know you had a bomb, did you?
You're like, what the hell? Like, how do you
get that down? I think in one of the animated movies he took Green Lantern's ring off.
Yeah,
like, what's this dude? Yeah, I was like, what the?
Yo, he just slipped it right off his finger. Yeah, he was like,
he just had his ring. He was like, yo, sis. Like, how'd you do that? Batman is always cool because we can level with Batman because like he don't have super strength. He's just out there fighting. This movie was probably one of the best portrayals of Batman, man. Like maybe since like Batman began, maybe since the Dark Knight.
After almost 40 years, I was so happy to see Michael Keaton back in the suit.
Michael Keaton, even George Clooney, because I knew what it meant, and that's part of the history of. I know the movies are, but he was one of the Batman that I saw as a child. It holds a place in my nostalgia.
Okay,
know? So
I mean, seeing the Superman, that was cool.
I liked, Although this was a cool movie, I was not disappointed at the end, man. That's what I said. 7.5.
So the convergence at the end. What was that? Was the colliding of the realms?
And I thought they started to pull apart.
Barry.
Because
Dark Flash, all that going back.
Because he was just doing too much.
Because he was doing too much,
and so they would just start colliding.
Yep.
So Barry stopped all that when he let other Barry die.
when Otherberry let Dark Flash die, then the conversion stopped because
he didn't start
because he stopped fucking with everything. And
I thought maybe original Barry was gonna have to die because he's the original.
I mean,
who messed it up.
Ultimate
That's the remember.
Sorry,
That's the problem with time.
It's still an alternate Barry.
know.
It's not the same. It's not. So original and alternate Barry are not the same Barry, but alternate Barry and Dark Flash are the same Barry.
I don't get that because they're all the same Barry. You know what I mean?
No,
they
no,
are.
they're not.
If
alternate,
Dark Flash and other Barry would be the same Barry, that means that original Barry would have another Barry that would be the same as him. Like there would be infinite Barry showing up because they would all have parts of them that are the same.
Think of it as this one iteration of the Flash. Despite how he got his powers, this one iteration of the Flash decided to, once he got access to the Chronosphere,
right?
He decided to say fuck all this and start fucking with everything because he didn't want Supergirl and Batman to die.
He was hauling
This is
off.
literally,
dude, what are you doing?
This is literally the only Barry Allen, the only Flash to try to do that. Original Barry
Flash did it.
No,
that's how we ended up here.
Not in this way. The original Barry only wanted to go to one place.
Yeah, he didn't.
He wanted to go to one place.
He didn't start going crazy with it.
This Barry, she was running forever, jumping all through this. Only this one, the same person, and it is original Barry's fault for showing him this.
So there's only two Barrys.
I feel like
in this sense,
I feel like
only
other
two.
Barrys showing back up at the end didn't need to happen. Because Dark Flash, that was the dramatic moment. Was like, look what he's turned into.
It did need to happen.
Wait a minute.
I don't think so. It to me, it's like, look what he's done to himself and to the universe, the verse. Like, look at him.
Look at what.
And then he showed back up again, and I'm like, well, what did you do? Because you came back as the same guy that just left.
It was to show him to give him that hero's death to show him. This is what you're going to become.
Dark Flash, though. Like,
this is what you will.
This is what you're going to face.
This is what you will become.
Moment.
It's one more like this is what you will become. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't want to become this. It woke him up, and he realized,
was getting real angry. Like other Flash was like, I was like, oh, here, he's
like, this is what you will become. Look at you. Yeah. This is what you will become. So that's why he jumped in front of the blades when Dark Flash threw that original Barry. Mm-hmm. It's the same person. It's just this one Barry is deciding to fuck with everything, where original Barry only wanted to fuck with one thing.
And but original Barry did fuck with everything by fucking with one thing.
Yep.
So there should be infinite Barrys coming up.
No,
Barrys.
Because no, there shouldn't. Because it's only this one Barry that decided to try to take matters into his own hands.
But other Barry took matters into his own hand and turned into Dark Barry.
There are other
Flashes. Then other Barry came back.
There are other
so
Flashes.
So we got original Barry, other Barry, and Dark Barry. Those are the three.
What
Barrys
if another?
I think so too. There has to be
other
infinite
Barry
Barrys.
and Dark Barry. There are infinite Barrys, but those Barrys are staying in their timeline. They're staying in their lane.
They know better.
We stopped. Wait, Barry stopped Barry, right? Barry stopped Barry,
right? Yeah.
On like the third or fourth time he went back in, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait, when he knocked him back into his original timeline?
No. At the end, right when they stopped
the convergence,
because Barry was chasing
and they
Barry.
Stopped Dark Barry,
Dark
right?
Barry, yeah.
So
wait, you talking about original Barry chasing other Barry or other Barry chasing Dark Barry? Like which one Barry?
When original Barry
was chasing other Barry through time.
Right. We was chasing other Barry, so they went through like twice, right? They went back
4 or 5 times,
twice,
because they were going.
And then Barry went on his own.
Supergirl, Batman.
Then he went on his own like 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alternate Barry went out
so
there
those
like three
lines.
It was like three or 4 times.
Those divergent lines are still out there, even if after that
potentially.
Those are still out there. So even if after that,
but
they killed or Barry died, thus ending the rest of the convergence with all the other.
But remember, original Barry told, original Barry when he went back, and he saw Supergirl and Batman dying anyway. He's like, no matter what we do, it's going to be the same thing. You guys are meant to die here.
He's just a quitter, though.
Yo,
only 2 times you die,
bro.
You got to give at least 10,
bro. There are like trillions and trillions upon trillions of possibilities.
Is it just
for
me,
that
or
one
did you
point.
did you
For that
hate
one
seeing
Nexus
Michael
point.
Keaton bleeding out of his mouth by
Yo,
die, man?
I
was
fucking
like,
hated the fact that they killed him.
I was like
hated
Tony
that.
Stark over there. I was like,
I'm
y'all
like, this
taking
is
me through this
stupid.
again, huh?
I'm like, this
You
is
gonna do
stupid.
this to me again?
Why are we doing this? This is fucking dumb.
It's like seeing my man Tony all burnt up. Like you gonna see one of my original childhood heroes just bleeding out. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't stop it. He's just gonna die right in front of my eyes. Okay, all right, got you, DC. That's messed up, man.
I had an audible boo.
Yeah, you didn't have to do that, man. I hated seeing Michael
tight.
Keaton get taken out like that.
I was tight.
You know what? I'm totally with you guys.
It was against a Kryptonian, man. What you gonna do about that?
Yeah, I'm like, there's no
like there was
point.
no kryptonite in this movie.
I thought you guys were gonna win this fight. Like
I thought like I'm not really on the side of whole Batman can win anything with enough prep time, but like, come on. Like Michael Keaton Batman. Batman. He can win anything.
He can do anything, man.
It's like Barry said, Batman was a strategist and he just knew what he was doing. It made part detective, part scientist, part warrior. Like he embodies. I think that's why everybody likes Batman. Like I was thinking, like, who's my favorite DC hero? And I'm like, I don't know much about
everybody
hero.
likes Batman because he's a regular ass dude.
Batman. Every scene he was in,
I like Batman because he's always got an extra. He's always got something behind.
He always has it
figured
figured out.
On contingency.
Yeah, like
he
ain't a
always
regular
figured out.
dude by any stretch.
No, he's
human.
He is human.
No. So
but he's got capitalism.
So
behind
let me complete that sentence. Then. He's a
technology.
regular ass dude on the Justice League. Like,
but he's just important.
They're all superhumans except for him.
But you recognize Batman's leadership. You do.
Right.
Like,
he's still second in command in the Justice League.
And he's way
maybe
smarter
in
than
power,
most
but he's the head. Think about any animated movie. He's quarterbacking. He's directing.
No, he's not the leader.
He's not the leader because he's not the strongest.
Superman is always the leader of the Justice League, dude.
Because they always look to Superman to solve the problem. Because he
is
as
soon as Superman goes bad,
they all recognize
Batman. As
Batman.
soon as Superman's wrong, they're like
Batman is second in command. Yeah. Superman's
always has
the leader.
Contingency. He's got it figured out. He's not a metahuman. He's regular human.
He's a regular ass dude.
Every scene in this movie, I thought Batman was interesting. I couldn't wait to see him again. Like they would cut away from Batman in the beginning during the chase, and then they cut to something else. I was like, man, go back to Batman. Go back to Batman. I hated the Flash's suit.
Audience says Batman 3 thumbs down.
3 thumbs down.
No, stop it. The original Batman, Michael Keaton, you gotta love it just
Michael
because.
Keaton,
he was
no
there.
way. Best part of the movie.
Right. All the nostalgic lines.
Best part of that below average movie.
You weigh a lot more than 108. I don't think he said that in that movie, but that's what I said.
No, it's the whole how much. That's what I thought too.
Yeah, because he caught the grapple hook on his belt and took her up. Yeah. How much do you weigh? He was like, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." You know what I'm saying? There was a couple other lines in there.
Nuts.
It was a couple other things in there where I was like, yo, straight nostalgia. He walked into the armor room where like Vicky Vale was talking to her reporter friend in the very first Batman movie, Michael Keaton. And remember, he walked him inside, I'm Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? Like he introduced himself and the same armor sets were there. Yeah.
Of course, the iconic I'm Batman.
Yeah,
we know that.
And his super smartness. Look, he didn't get chosen to be the inheritor of the League of Assassins because he was rich.
That's part of it.
I mean, it's probably part of it.
Yeah, infinite resources.
It definitely didn't.
Funny thing is, in I think in the DC universe, Batman's not even in the top 10. One of the top. I don't think he's even in the top 10 of best hand-to-hand fighters. There's a whole bunch of people.
Probably not, only because of his lack of strength.
A whole bunch of people like Slade. Slade, I think, is number 1. Lady Shiva is number 2. I know Green Arrow, enhanced. Connor Hawk Green Arrow is number 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Bats?
Dick Grayson is above Batman in that regard also. But like there's a lot like Batman's not even in top 10.
But he's still a better strategist.
But he's still on your, his mind
like
his mind is amazing.
Is where he's like
and most of the characters, especially for the Justice League, recognize his importance as far as like leadership, resources. And he's just always in the mix. And like whenever Batman's on the screen, whenever I notice Batman on the screen in this movie, it just drove it home. I was like, I want to see more of Batman. Where's the solo Batman movie? God bless Robert Pattinson. God bless him. Where's this Batman in this movie? Can we get that Batman from this movie? Can I get a whole movie of Michael Keaton? Like Batman Beyond would be perfect. Can we blend George Patterson and Michael Keaton together and get a Batman Beyond movie?
That's what I said.
That's
where are we going?
That's a waste, and they can't do that again, can they? They can't. No. If they did, I would accept.
What's the last solo Batman movie?
That's flat. That's what the Batman.
Yeah.
But that's what that's what Flashpoint can do. It's left open enough that you have all these divergent timelines that you can pick and choose from. So with source material that's already out there.
So it's really just up to James Gunn to figure out what the fuck he gonna do.
Yep.
I hate it.
James Gunn, good luck and Godspeed, bro, because you got a hell of a mess to clean up.
I hated how Wonder Woman just showed up and then just left so soon. I'm like, no, Gal Gadot, we know you.
That cameo was wasted.
Like, we know you. Stick around. Like, where are you going?
She didn't have to be there, though.
She didn't, but I wanted to see her.
Neither did
know her.
Neither did that disappointing ass post-credit scene with Aquaman. That was fucking stupid.
I didn't stay.
You didn't stay?
I stayed.
Don't bother. It was fucking stupid.
It was dumb.
It was dumb as hell.
Yeah, I need to ask you about that. But
where's the cool Aquaman moment of this seasoned hero king?
And they have a movie. He's got a movie too.
Oh yeah, I heard it's the worst movie ever though. Like it's been delayed so much, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is the worst movie ever."
Aquaman though, I thought it was pretty cool.
I always just want to know how he's moving through water like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
I would buy it only because Atlanteans don't really exist, and how do they move through water? Nobody really knows.
Oh yeah,
they just go. Real quick, a couple other things, man. So like the DCEU suits, like Superman suits, Batman suits, Supergirl in this joint. I just love their suits because they look like armory.
I did like Supergirl suit.
Yeah, they just look cool. Like they
don't look just like Henry Cavill's suit.
Yeah, when in Marvel,
or red cape,
which was dope.
Yeah,
in Marvel for comparison, when Captain America's dressed, it just looks like he's dressed down, and it's a cool. If you cosplay it or something, it looks cool.
Which one?
Armor. Well, his suit. Steve Rogers' suit when he's fighting with the. First one, second one, Avengers. I mean,
because they were drastically different from
not
the
drastically,
first Avengers to the second one.
Not drastically.
Oh yeah.
They pretty much look, maybe color wise, color palette wise, they went from like blue, red, white, and blue to like a more of a grayish, blues, gray or whatever.
From the first Avengers movie, not the first Captain America movie, but from the first Avengers movie to the second Captain America movie. That suit was very different.
It was.
It was like this. The first Avengers movie was more of a skin tight.
Yeah, it was like
a skin tight suit. A skin tight.
I think they only did that just to tone his suit down because he looked kind of ridiculous.
But the second outfit and like Winter Soldier,
tone it down.
In Winter Soldier, it was like a more like padded. It was like a more padded like outfit.
The point is, even like for Aquaman suit and Justice League and even the Flash up to this movie, I didn't like the Flash suit in this movie, but they always look.
Right? That's the old suit.
That's
the old suit. Yeah,
I like that suit more.
But they always look. I do too, and they always look like Kevlar-y and like. It looks like armor. It looks like something you could believe would take heat vision to the chest and not have a hole burnt in it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just something that stuck out, man. I was like, okay, I like the armor. I didn't realize the Batwing sat 3 people. I was like, Michael Keaton's Batman. I'm counting the seats in it. Maybe 2.
It actually.
Maybe you could get 2.
It actually didn't. No.
He had to upgrade that Batwing.
It actually only originally sat 1 person.
Yeah, right. Because I was like, I'm thinking, but I don't remember seeing a passenger seat.
Well, remember he had to get Robin in there, later, and then he had to get Robin.
that was the Batwing, and I think in the later movies maybe, but not like the first movie with the Batwing.
Yeah, but like this will be like a later because this is all retired stuff.
Yeah,
this would be like later.
I mean, again, also when did he have the turning cockpit? That was a new feature.
I could buy it. I bought all his flying scenes, man. That was pretty cool.
That bat plane in the moon, man.
Yeah, man. I think at the end of the day, like it was just a little bit too much slapsticky kind of stuff. Like I wanted to see my Flash more serious and seasoned and more hero.
I give this movie a solid 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a cool 5.
5 out of 10.
I watched the whole thing. I didn't leave.
That's not. You hated this movie. That's like a movie you hate.
No, it's a movie. That's a movie that I didn't really feel anything for. It's right in the middle.
You didn't feel anything when George Clooney popped up at the
end? No.
Just for nostalgia?
That was slapstick.
It might not have been your favorite Batman, but you saw it when
we
you were a child.
all knew why they put George Clooney in the
series of Batman. You do know that the original ending of the movie was not supposed to be that, right?
No. Yeah, but I thought they stuck that landing though. I don't know what the original ending was supposed to be.
The original ending was actually supposed to be Barry makes his way back like he did. Like, he's like, my dad's innocent and all of that.
Yeah.
He walks out of the courthouse and the Bruce Wayne that shows up is Michael Keaton, and Supergirl also shows up. So it turns out that was supposed to be because that they originally wanted the DCEU to continue with Michael Keaton and Supergirl kind of leading the charge,
which you could have,
but maybe no Michael more Snyderverse. It's not happening anymore. Now with this new DCU, they put George Clooney in there to fucking troll us.
They weren't part of the Snyderverse though because they were newcomers.
They would have been.
Really? They'd be in the continuity as far as like Ezra Miller.
They wouldn't have gotten rid of Cavill. Remember, this Flash movie was made in 2020.
It was made.
It was supposed to come out in 2020.
It was supposed to loop back around to this actual universe.
Right. Okay. This movie was supposed to come out in 2020 or 2021.
I knew this was going to happen with this movie. I was like,
but with the developments that happened between 2021 and now, they had to change the ending.
They want us to care about this movie, but we know that the Snyderverse is not continuing. I knew this was going to happen because I'm like, if you're not going to continue this story, why should I care? And and the funny thing is, I actually like this movie. I'm
Michael Keaton is in it.
You could tell.
And I wouldn't mind if Michael Keaton was. I want to see it.
You could also tell in that scene though that Ezra Miller didn't Ezra Miller and George Clooney didn't shoot that scene together.
Oh yeah,
they weren't together, so it was like it was easy to just like have him in there.
It was just cool to see George Clooney.
Talk to someone that may look like Ezra Miller, but it wasn't actually him there.
It wasn't cool to see. So wait a minute.
Miller.
So that wasn't Ben Affleck at the beginning on the Bat cycle. That was not him. I could tell that was not Ben Affleck. And I know that wasn't really him on the motorcycle, but that wasn't him in the mask.
So yeah,
him in the mask?
Yeah, it was.
I didn't think it looked like him at all. I didn't think it sounded like Ben Affleck. There was a
part where he dropped.
But remember, he was talking to Ben Affleck outside of Ben Affleck's car.
There was a part.
Which I'm like, is Bruce Wayne the billionaire going to drive to the hood to talk to Ezra Miller?
I was wondering that.
Like, he was parked in the back alley and whatnot. I was like,
he pulled up in that door with a glowing black car.
He was $100 billion millionaire. Like, is he really going to park there and just talk to you a cheeseburger?
And just sitting outside of that joint,
like he ain't got no security or nothing.
Anybody like. That nigga Batman.
Yeah,
Batman over that nigga Batman.
Is that a batarang under the gun?
Claudia said in the first trailer of Flash, they showed him saving Iris. Was that the movie?
That was in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
That movie was so good.
When he saved Iris.
And I didn't mind her. I thought she was cool. She didn't detract from the movie.
Cute. They just did not. Man, the chemistry was not there. They forced the whole thing, and I'm offended. I'm personally offended. How dare you? Like, she is way too hot to be like you out there, just being nothing, and she's gonna be like, "You should take me to dinner." Why?
Because the audience knows the name Iris. That's
because.
Because this is like a trap to get you committed.
Yeah. All right, so
we should probably switch over to Spiderverse.
Switch over, though.
So it's about 11 o'clock.
Oh,
nice.
Boy.
Okay, real quick, we don't got to take the phone, and then we're supposed to be talking about Trump. So Into the Spider-Verse, it was the same conundrum that Miles Morales faced, that Barry faced at the end of this movie. Okay, do you let your parent die? Was Miles Morales right or was Spider-Man 2099 right? Miguel O'Hara. For wanting him to let his dad die.
So you want to jump right into it? Can we talk about the movie for a minute?
Yeah, I want to talk about the movie before getting into that question.
Like, that's a great question. And
but
that is
like it was the same issue. And Flash made the hard choice that I figure most heroes would kind of make. You know what I mean? Like, kind of make. How do you make the choice to let a parent die? But the Flash made that choice, and Miles Morales didn't. You know what I mean? So. Both movies were visually stunning, man. I don't see how you could like one over the other.
I'm
Into
sorry,
the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse.
I guess it kind of picked up later, but at the beginning, I was like, this is a bad CGI. And
it was bad CGI throughout for me.
Yeah. I got that feeling. I was like, Flash felt like low-tier, almost TV work.
Like they need to take lessons from Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm not as hard.
Could we just admit that like Flash might have stood a chance if this didn't come out the week before?
Maybe, yeah.
Might have stood a chance if this didn't come out the week
Across
before.
The board, a better movie.
Because this movie, Spider-Verse, this was obviously there's nothing. Like we're halfway through the year.
No notes.
Nothing else is going to top
beat
this movie.
It's not
like nothing.
I'm very excited for like Mission Impossible. I'm very excited for Ninja Turtles. I'm very excited for.
Y'all should hold off till next year.
Like,
No, Spiderverse 2 is coming out next year. You got
movie of the year. We did it. Like, we did it already. It's movie of the year. 100%.
Like, look, from the visuals to the
storytelling, man.
Storytelling to the soundtrack. Guys,
the soundtrack was dope.
The animation,
everything was perfect for this movie.
I
don't
have
think there's
notes. No notes. Perfect movie. No fucking notes whatsoever at all. Like what were they thinking? With like, do you understand? Yo, like, okay,
who did that?
Like, who did this?
Who did
like,
this?
I want to find them and shake this person. Like, who did this?
How did you do that?
Do you understand what you just did?
You hurt me. I love you.
You hurt me, but I love you.
Man, like, seriously, dude. Like, I'm sorry. This movie was like everything.
Yo,
I keep telling Scarlett and Clooney, like, guys, I want to go see Spider-Verse. You want to go see Spider-Verse?
Right. Oh, they didn't
Yo, I want to go see Spider-Verse again.
Twice already.
Oh,
I want to go see it again.
You want to go see it again?
I want to go see it again. Let's go see it again.
Let's go
What are
see
you
it
doing
again.
tomorrow?
Okay. I got middle day, but we'll work it out. I'm gonna go.
I have a big day planned too, but let's see if we can find time.
Yeah,
I want to go see it again.
Let's go see it again, man. I want to go see
I've never been a fan of going to the movies twice for a movie.
I will see this movie
because,
4
like,
fucking
you're never
times,
gonna get
4 or
that
5
same
times in the
thrill.
movie.
Me neither.
I'm not. I usually like if I go to see a movie more than once, it's got to be great. And
I don't think I've
I'm
ever
gonna see
gone
this
to the
movie
movies
5 times.
Mm-hmm.
to see one movie. This is my first time.
I think I
Went
did
to
it back when they
movies
had the
twice.
dollar
I do
movie
it
on Del
multiple
Boulevard.
times.
Remember the dollar movie that used to be up there next to the bowling alley?
Yeah,
It cost like $2, and then they closed it down and changed it to a church.
No Way
walk to
Home.
that joint.
No Way Home. I saw 3 times in 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can't tell you the last time I went to the movies, see movies twice.
Guys.
Maybe.
Yo, there was so much. So chemistry. This is
There's
fucking
chemistry.
chemistry.
She was dope.
This is fucking chemistry.
With limited lines. 2 movies, limited lines.
Chemistry.
That's how it was done. That's how
There was
do it,
chemistry
right
here. So
but
like
here, there's a difference. He got swag.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Miles has
Morales.
swag. Like, guys,
He's Miles
do
Morales.
we understand when he was like, first time for everything.
Yeah.
And she was like,
You know, my man is
he leaned on him like,
my man's like slowly moving his hand, you know, and she sees it, and she's like, she's not stopping him, you know, she's
Look,
not moving away.
I'm gushing right now, but this movie was like everything for my youth, man. Like I felt like my youthful angst come back. I was like, that was like the flirtatious, like the floaty energy, like everything.
Like,
he was in that joke, just like.
Yo, can we just talk about too, like. Can we talk about the fact that we truly saw a villain story come to fruition?
He was not intimidating at first. I was like, "There you go,
bro.
This guy, dog."
That was the point.
And by the time he hit that Alchemax, I was like,
"Yo,
wow."
He was like
he can
true villain story, like a true villain story.
There you go.
He was just like
he was cool, man.
because you made fun of me. Hey. But I created you.
Yeah,
you know, like I created you
right there,
the spot. Like I created you, and you created me. Yes. And then he's like, but you're like the villain of the week. And he's like, nobody fucking makes fun of me. Nobody calls me the villain of the week. I'll show you.
The way he like found his powers too, man. Like he was like developing himself. He was trying to steal an ATM machine.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden he kicked his ass. Wait,
he kicked his own ass into he kicked his own ass into the fucking multiverse, like the multiverse nexus.
They kicked his ass into
that
himself.
Was dope.
And then he went into Venom's world with the cashier lady. That was Venom's world. And she was just kind of like, oh, this is normal because she's used to seeing this kind of thing.
I actually didn't see the last 2 Venoms, but yeah, I remember for the first one. Definitely.
I saw both of them. I liked the first one better, but. Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Hey, Juice, okay, so it's time for my problem with this movie, bro, because
we're still gushing.
Yeah, like we're still talking about gushing, this movie,
and it's not a huge problem. It's not like I hated this part. Zoom back out. Go back to this picture right here, right?
Which one?
The one right next to it. I'm sorry. To the left. Yeah, right to the left.
Other side.
Yeah.
I forgot who was on production. I thought that was Juice. Okay, so this part right here. So. My main issue with this movie, and it's not a serious issue, okay? So but like, if he goes to a building, there's all these Spider-Men from all the Spider-Women, Spider characters from all across the verses, right? So Miles Morales takes off and he tries to lead them out of the building and lead them away, right? Mm-hmm. And Miles Morales is good enough to evade them, right?
Mm-hmm.
My problem is they're all Spider-Man. So if he's good enough to evade them, they're good enough to catch him. And just by their overwhelming numbers, I didn't see Miles being that smart enough to outmaneuver Miguel O'Hara in a building full of spider people. You know what I mean? Like that was the one thing that took me out of it. I'm sorry. I know it's just a little nitpick. It's not serious because the movie was amazing.
Your problem was that he couldn't evade Miguel, but he could evade them.
That he evaded all of them. It's a building full of spider people who are him. They are Spider-Man.
Look at the sheer numbers of them, though.
That's why I don't feel like he should have been able to evade them.
No. Like they were crowding each other.
If he's good enough to evade them, they're good enough to catch him.
No, not necessarily.
So at that point, I was like, it should have been a little more of a struggle for him to lead them away and outsmart them.
You got to think here. Peter Parker of some kind.
It was thousands of Spider-Man in here.
Peter Parker of some kind. Miles Morales.
But they all
different Spider-Man.
Essentially. So even Penny, what's her name? Penny Parker, the one inside the Spider-Man,
in the armor.
The armor. She is Spider Woman. She is Spider-Man. Her character would be good enough to catch him if he's good enough to evade her.
She's a Peter Parker.
Her character would be good enough, but that's like saying that you saw the trailer for the new Spider-Man game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get. When's that come out? October.
October.
I'm gonna get it.
October
so that's already a done deal.
But
that's like saying Peter Parker is not as good as Miles Morales. They're both the same.
No, they're not the same.
Who would win in a fight?
Who would win in a fight?
Who would have in a fight?
Okay, where are we coming?
Right?
Where are we coming from here, though?
Spider-Man, but
where are we coming from
here,
though?
How is Miles better than all of these guys over here? How is that?
He's not better.
I know it's his story and his movie.
He's not better, but he was enough.
They had Spider-Horse.
Peter Parker,
all these Spider-Men.
Peter Parker and Miles Morales are not the same Spider-Man. They're not the same.
But they have the same abilities.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Miles has more abilities than Peter does.
I get it. Maybe certain powers, shocking and all that.
Camouflage.
He didn't use shock. He didn't use shock that whole scene. He used athleticism and spider sense. I guess.
Miles. Okay, so Miles can spider sense.
I didn't hate it. I'm just saying it just. I thought about it like
he can spider sense things that Peter can't. He can spider sense Venom.
I guess, but now you're talking about Peter. They're all Spider-Man.
A variation of Peter.
Whether they're Peter or Miguel O'Hara, they're all Spider-Man.
No,
so they
Miguel and
the
Miles
law of averages
different.
would tell you there's one of these Spider-Men in here that have the similar abilities to Miles, right? Which should put them on par with Miles.
But they're not.
But he's avoiding not only that Spider-Man who's similar to him, but all the other thousands of Spider-Man in this building.
Okay, so y'all
powers.
The only power they don't have that Miles has is Electro,
and
right?
camouflage.
But some of them do have that plus some.
No,
right? I mean,
no.
The Miles is
What
not the
about
only
Spider
one out
sense?
of all the. Spider-Horse could have had a similar power. We don't know. We didn't explore his character.
I mean, I'm sure his hooves was the walls, but that's not really gonna help.
Was Spider-Pig there? I didn't recall seeing Spider-Pig.
He wasn't.
How do we know he couldn't have caught Spider-Man? He probably could have. He might have had a similar power.
There.
I don't know. I was like, I didn't see anything in that chase scene that led me to believe that Miles was smarter or more quick than any of these guys.
So I know it's a nitpick, but you have to understand. I know it's a nitpick, but you have to understand fundamentally. Miles and Miguel are differences.
They're not
not Peter Parker. They're not a variation of Peter Parker.
See Miguel go hard enough, and I'm waiting for part.
I thought Miguel went pretty.
I feel like he went pretty hard.
I want to see him do something cool like badass, and I just
I think his presence alone.
He was scary. He was intimidating, but I wanted to see him like take down, get in there, take down the spot, go 1-on-1 with the spot guy. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what you can do, Miguel.
No one can go 1-on-1 with the spot.
I get it because he's so powerful, but I wanted to see what Miguel could do. I don't feel like we ever got his moment to see this is what I can do. This is what Spider-Man 2099 can do. You know, he even avoided him. He avoided Miguel. So if he's as good as Miguel, I get it. He avoided them because he's as good as all of them. But they're as good as he is too.
They're not as good as he is. We don't know that for sure.
I think they are. They're all Spider-Man.
Oh, hey, let's chalk it up to this. They weren't trying to hurt him. They weren't trying to catch him.
They were trying to catch him, yeah.
And he took advantage of that and escaped.
I thought it was smart how he led him all the way. He was like, he did plan all this, didn't he? I thought it was cool. I didn't have a huge problem with it. It was just a nitpick. Yeah. And that was the only.
All in all, he's a different Spider-Man.
By the way,
it
took 4 years to animate that whole scene.
Seriously?
It took 4 years to animate that scene.
These movies are amazing. Both of them, man. Like, just the animation is like...
Since the first movie.
Yeah, they were all that Joe immediately. I didn't even know they were coming out with another one. For real.
And
I just saw that Joe in the trailers like a year ago. I was like, Oh, word.
I'm an action junkie, man. I like hand-to-hand combat. Neither one of these movies really have a lot of that. They're more really focused towards kids.
Because he'll kill niggas.
Yeah,
Spider-Man doesn't hold back. He'll make people's faces explode.
But
he'll put his fist right through their head.
Just the animation itself, and like just the story is enough. Just the animation is enough to keep you into it. Every scene looks so different in the colors.
So, can we talk about Spider-Punk for a second? Can we talk about? Go ahead. Let's talk about my man Hobie Brown for a second. Now, I want you to sit down for this. Come on, I want you to sit down over here for this, right?
Anyway, it's fine.
So I want you to sit down for this. So
I just want to say he stole that movie for me.
Oh, he stole the movie for everyone.
Like Hobie Brown,
the disruptor,
the guy who made like Miles is dope. Miguel's, everybody was dope. The story was dope, but for whatever reason, he came in that joke. He stole the show, man. Like he made that whole movie like about him, his foresight, his like big brother kind of instinct. I don't know if y'all caught that. Yeah. I felt that. Like he was like, dude, make sure you know what you're getting into.
Use your whole hand.
Use your whole hand,
not just the palm.
He came in that joint was like, and from the beginning, as soon as he saw Miles, he was like, well, he was trying to get through that wall. He kicks through that joint, and he's like, dude, use your whole hand. And he said it so casually. Yeah. It was advice.
And then even Gwen, and Gwen and Spider-Man India are talking him up, and like he's getting like jealous of Hobie. He's like, who's Hobie? Nice, like who are you talking about?
Spider-Man India was cool, man.
Spider-Man India was cool. He was cool. I think for me, Hobie was just above him, though.
I think so too. Yeah,
just above him.
I mean, he definitely assembled that watch, and you notice him taking stuff off the wall.
I love Spider-Man India though. Spider-Man India was so cool, man.
I never read
that whole world was so cool, you know.
Yeah.
And like the whole canon event.
Ring thing he was using.
But okay, let's hear this, right? My man Hobie. So I was telling Claudine this earlier. Did you guys realize Hobie is so anti-establishment that he doesn't follow the rules of any world? Hence, why was he switching animation styles every 5 seconds?
Yo, real talk, right? He did not look like he
didn't follow the rules.
Everybody came like with their own
animation style, and they stayed that way. My man is going black and white, matte, like multicolors, plaid.
I did notice that, yo. I was like,
did you realize that shit? That's why. Because he's so anti-establishment. He doesn't follow the rules of any world, of any one world that he goes to. He doesn't conform. So he's switching animation styles just because. That's who he is.
But that raises the fundamental question of like,
who thought of this? Who did this? Who did this? Who did it? Was it you?
We all knew Spider-Punk was cool, right? If you ever played a video game, you just saw the suit. Yeah. You read a little comic here and there.
Guitar
was cool. The guitar. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's a cool Spider-Man."
And that's a weapon.
And then this happened, and I'm like, I didn't know he was that cool. And he's like, "I was just cool the whole time." It's like, yo, this
he's like, I've always been this cool. And I'm like, yo.
He was cool. I don't know, like if he doesn't buy into the rules of any world or order.
No, that's exactly what it was.
How does he buy into the rules
of
like? How does he buy into the rules of like honor and justice and like how does he have a code? Because that means he doesn't have a code at all.
Kinda. Like,
and like have a code. He's not a villain, so he has to follow. So he has to adhere to some kind of rules. You know what I mean?
No.
That's because he assembled that watch out of his own free will.
But it's because of what he chooses to do.
So that means he follows an honor code. So he does conform.
No, he doesn't conform.
Let's talk. Can we talk about
he doesn't conform.
Can we talk about structure and government real quick? Right. So if you're anti-establishment like Hobie is, you have to realize like he's an anarchist essentially.
Yes.
Right.
So
he's a hero, and heroes can be anarchists. You have to have order.
That's not true.
You have to have order to be a hero.
You
can't be a hero in a lawless society.
Let's say that's a misunderstanding.
If you're a hero in a lawless society, that means you're standing up.
That's a misunderstanding of anarchy.
I don't know.
Like that's a misunderstanding.
At the end of the day, Spider-Punk is a hero. He's a Spider-Man.
We have been presented in this society as anarchy being ruleless, lawless. Right. And completely like disorienting
establishment.
Yeah, but that is not true, right? Because you have to understand we're getting that message from our establishment.
But if
all of this is we all have to understand.
Propaganda.
All of this is propaganda.
If we don't have order, right, and there's anarchy, and what you say about anarchy is not true. If somebody breaks into your house and assaults your home, and you can't pick up the phone to dial 911 to call the police, that's the anarchic state.
Do you
almost
consider them heroes?
So, you would have to have a hero.
Will 911
can
911 not also shoot you?
I think policemen are heroes. Like, they show up to adverse situations where the odds are stacked against them most of the time.
But it's the same principle, like you just said. Those same policemen can shoot and kill you.
So how much order is that?
Person?
I don't know. I feel like he is Spider-Man at the end of the day. So he does stand for justice.
Let's say as an alternative to that scenario,
and that itself is a code which has the power.
As an alternative to that scenario you presented, say there is small societies have not always had lawmen running around. That's just not a thing. That just wasn't a thing in small societies.
Years ago, we didn't have 100 years ago. Did you call 911?
No, because
not really.
Because remember, these are fairly recent institutions that were implemented by a larger government to keep people in line. Right. So if there was a crime happening, there was often a social order, right?
A militia, something like that.
No, not necessarily a
sheriff?
Militia. Not necessarily, because we're talking about a.
How do you answer injustice? So back during the time you're talking about, before the time of police officers or the law authorities.
Let's go back to tribes, right? Like a tribal society, right. You thought they had police?
No, but they would have less crime. In a tribal society where everybody's dependent on the person around them for survival, you're not going to have anybody stealing because I'm stealing from me. If I steal from you, I'm stealing from me. I'm stealing from you, and it's a community.
Right.
So there's not going to be any crime. I'm not going to go and murder. I'm not going to rape and murder.
There will be, because human nature is often divergent.
It's also about means.
Yeah,
I guess
human nature.
Every society has crime.
This society pits us against ourselves, right? And establishments and institutions often function like that. Yeah. That's how they thrive, because they pit the people against themselves.
They do.
We see this in so many scenarios around the world. Anyway, back to the point is the fact that
I guess
it
Toby
doesn't always have to be the establishment can be the villain
Spider-Man.
as much as it can be a protector, right? So Hobie or Spider-Punk, his perspective is that the establishment, if he's anti-establishment, the establishment is an issue.
He was completely anti-establishment, played by his own rules.
He did
not conform to any laws.
But he had a sense of honor and a code, and you can't be
That
anti-establishment
is
if you follow a code.
You have to understand that.
But that's an internal. Okay, I know establishment means I'm going to abide by the law.
It's not about
abiding
by
the law. The law comes from the establishment, so it's not being a laxity. It's not about abiding by the rule of law. It's not about abiding by the law.
It's about doing what's right or wrong.
But isn't
back to your original question?
Not necessarily.
Back to your original question: who's right? Spider-Man, Miles wanted to save his dad, or Miles or Miguel trying to save the universe. Which one is right? The establishment would say larger picture.
Exactly.
We have to save everybody.
The establishment said Miguel was right.
Doing Flash.
The establishment would say Miguel was right, but
it's
or even
internal honor, internal code, as you put it, would say Miles is right,
or that Flash is wrong. And Flash knew he was
wrong.
Let's say
there is no right.
Flash know he was wrong.
There is no right.
Do you get the sense that Flash knew he was wrong for doing what he did? That he thought, this is not right. But he went through with it because
any regular person would probably do what he did if they had the ability to. But at the same time, if it's a larger establishment, larger government, corporation, whatever have you, it's always bigger picture. The needs of the many, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's always that.
Why? Because it propagates their power, right? It propagates the power of the people.
And it establishes
who are succeeding in the establishment.
Right.
True.
And you have to understand that the Spider group
power
they
over
had
the
here,
people.
They had exile. When you have a system where you exile people, you have a system where you keep people out, you don't allow them in. You create and you have a position where not everybody in the organization necessarily agreed, but they went along with it because everybody else did. So you have this groupthink. Groupthink is mob mentality, right? So when you
But isn't that democracy? Isn't mob mentality democracy though?
no,
The
that's
rule
not
of the
same thing.
majority is not. That's mob mentality.
That's
right?
not mob mentality.
If
that is democracy.
That's just
if
democracy.
us three
That's
came
people-
in here and said Flash was 5 out of 10, and there was 50 other people that said no, Flash is a 10 out of 10, in a democratic system, who's right? They would be right because there's the majority of them.
It's not
of
about
us who
who's
are
right.
talking about Flash.
That's
Would
an
say that
opinion.
Flash was a 10 out of 10.
That's
So
an
officially,
opinion.
Flash would be a 10 out of
Those
10.
are all
That's an
opinions.
That's a
opinion.
democratic. That's
an opinion.
the rule of the mob.
No, those are all opinions.
Because your internal compass will still be
Rules.
different.
So
Rules
if somebody
don't
came
rely
and
on
said,
opinions.
so if we said this guy should be locked up in jail for 100
Rules
years,
don't
just like
rely on
Pontius Pilate
opinions.
and Jesus Christ, right? This guy should be locked up.
Rules don't
And the
rely
rule of
on
the mob
opinions.
comes and says, no, we want this guy to be brought out of jail, lynched and
Rules
hung,
don't
and
rely
not go
on
to a fair
opinions.
trial. Who's right and who's wrong, you know?
It's
I
not
guess
about right and wrong. I mean, well, here
It
he's
is,
the
when
one-
you're, especially when you're
maybe
referring to
one-
Spider-Man.
It depends your perspective,
perspective.
because it's perspective. Because the people who believe that Jesus Christ was king was like, hey, that's wrong. The people who believe that this guy was a threat and leading a mob of psychos around
Mhm.
was like, oh no, we have to protect ourselves from this psycho, right? So who's right?
So by that extension, Miles was wrong.
No.
Because the majority of the Spider-Man in
There's
that
no-
movie wanted
there's
to
no-
stop him and let his dad
From his
die.
perspective,
It's
from an
about-
So Miles
their
was wrong about that.
perspective.
From
From
a-
Miles' perspective, he's right.
Yeah.
From Miguel's perspective, he is right.
And from
Yes.
all the other Spider-Men there, he's wrong.
They're following Miguel.
They're-
They're just following Miguel.
And remember,
But we
not
don't-
But you
everyone-
even have,
I
and
didn't
not
like that
every
because
one
they
of
didn't-
them, and
not
not every
everyone
one of them
believes it.
agreed with that.
They didn't flesh out any. They could have brought back Spider-Man Noir or Penny Parker
Not-
or Porky
The point,
Porky Parker.
the point is,
They
the
got
point-
their opinions.
the
You know what
point
I'm
to
saying?
your
Why
point,
aren't
the
they
point
in
to
there?
your point,
But I'm just saying, just to get the opinions of the mob of Spider-Man and how
they're
they
not
feel about the
there because
situation.
they don't agree with
The only
it.
opinion
Yeah.
we had to go
They
against
don't agree with it.
the
He's
only
saying-
opinion we had to go against it was
Miguel.
Spider-Punk. That's the only one we had to go like, this isn't right. You do your own thing. You take
And
matters
Gwen.
into your own hands.
Gwen
But
is
that
fine.
was
and
anti-establishment.
Spider-Bite.
By that definition,
That's
Spider-Punk was
That
a
was
bad guy.
Spider-Bite, right?
Spider-Bite, yeah. And that's three. Like, that's three right there. So you have, and they went along. Why did they go along?
By that definition, Spider-Punk was a bad guy.
He's not a
He was
bad
evil.
guy.
Because
He's
the
neutral.
the
He's
majority
neutral.
knew
He
what
is
had to
neutral.
happen, right?
He
So,
is neutral. He's completely
I
neutral.
don't think so. He chose a side because he made that watch. for
D,
money.
that's only because you agree
Because he
with the
wanted to.
establishment.
That's not neutral. He chose a side then.
Because he wanted
That's
to.
only because you agree with the
He
establishment.
could have chosen not
I don't
to.
agree with this. I don't agree that they were right that he should let his dad die.
So was he right or wrong?
Was Spider-Punk right or wrong? Or Miles?
Miles.
Which one? You answer.
Miles was right. I'm not gonna let my dad
So
die.
was my so.
But
But that's
Flash
your
was
per-
right.
but
But
it-
Flash
That's
was
your
right.
personal opinion.
but
Flash
is
was
That's
right.
Miguel
your
right?
personal
Mom,
opinion.
But is Miguel right?
Was Flash right?
Is
But
Miguel
that's
right?
your personal opinion. If Miles is right
You
or
understand the
wrong.
complexity of anarchy, right?
And rules,
We're just
again,
talking
don't
about
rely on
complexity.
opinion.
It's anarchy and
Rules don't
multi-dimensional
rely on
verses.
opinion.
That's what the complexity comes from. It's not just
It's the
anarchy.
structure
Like
of
it's you're dealing with multiverses. That's the problem. And any infinite number of possibilities is possible. You know
Obi
what I mean?
came out that joint and set this bitch on his head. Right?
I guess.
Remember, he was a dude. He
He was
already
cool.
knew when Miguel.
I
The
thought they
whole
focused on
time
him a
he was
little
on
too
Miguel's
much.
last nerve.
He was.
Yeah.
He was on his last nerve. He was like, I'm not even here.
But if he's
And
so-
then-
if
and
he's
then
so-
as soon as
wait.
Miguel flipped and put him in that and put Miles in that cage,
If he's so
everybody
like,
was
no,
tripping.
no,
He was
no.
panicking, and Obi was like, "I
Nah.
told you, bro."
if
Use your
Spider-Punk
whole
is
hand.
so
Use the whole hand,
anti-establishment,
Not just the
He-
palm.
and
why did
he
Miguel
just
trust
dropped
him to join the inner circle and get the time ring?
Huh?
If he's so anti-establishment and not willing to conform to the code, why would Miguel trust him with the time
That
ring
doesn't
to
mean-
be a member of the team? I don't feel like Miguel. Well, he would know that this guy doesn't conform to rules. He's not going to agree with what we're doing here.
You
So
have
there
to.
had to be something redeeming
have to-
about Spider-Punk that made Miguel and the other
He
Spider-Man
could absolutely be a redeemable character.
to
You
say,
saw
to say
what-
that, hey,
He
he
kicked to a
knows
force
we're
field,
right, so he can come
he
join
kicked to
us.
a force field with his guitar.
And
I'm
you have
sure
to
he's got
understand-
power.
you have to understand Miguel's
they didn't
point.
pick Miles.
have
Miles
to
kind of was
understand-
forced onto the team. They
You have to
chose.
understand
They
what Miguel
chose
was trying to
Spider-Punk.
do. You have to understand what Miguel's trying to do. Miguel's trying to unite all the Spider people.
by,
It doesn't matter who.
by allowing one person in each of their timelines to have that fatal moment and die. So like Uncle Ben or Gwen.
to
allow innocence to die. Remember, that's his whole thing.
It's a
Allowing
conundrum,
innocence
man.
to die.
I'm not saying I didn't
That's
like
Everybody
Spider-Man.
has to allow
That's the
their
wrong
uncle, their
perspective,
Uncle
but
Ben
it-
to die.
That's the wrong
Yeah,
perspective,
yeah, Uncle
but
Ben,
it is the establishment perspective. For his world, for the world to continue to propagate like he thinks, because he doesn't know. Let's say this. He doesn't know. He thinks right? The way the world going to continue to propagate and the web is going to stay together, he thinks is by the fact that sometimes some innocents are going to have to die, and we have to let it happen.
So
now that isn't is that a moral perspective? Is that correct? Is that the heroic
Depends
thing?
on who's
no, but it is the establishment perspective. It is establishment because it propagates the rest of the establishment to keep going. But it's not correct.
It really is. Who did Spider-Punk let die? Who was his Uncle Ben? Did he let that person die? Did they?
Did you hear about the Blue Laces?
Blue Laces.
So somebody pointed out. I was listening to this. I'm listening to everything I can about this, y'all.
Yeah.
So somebody pointed out that Spider-Punk has blue laces, and we all understand that that means somebody on his boots, and that means in certain groups, I guess gang, whatever, that means that you had killed a cop.
Oh.
And so at some point, it's possible that he may have killed his uncle Ben, his uncle, his father, whoever. He may have had he lost somebody close to him, and it may have been by his own hand, whether he wanted it or not, right? For whatever, however it went down. Just complexity, just something I heard, So who knows? Yeah. Maybe, right?
I don't know.
And the stories are so divergent.
Only other problem I have with the movie is it's not a problem, just a nitpick. I wish they would have showed us more villains in there, man. Vulture was cool at the beginning. Show us Hobgoblin. Go deep into the lore. I know Kraven's supposed to be in the new game and all that. Give us Kraven. Give us some of these guys. I like Octopus. Dr. Octopus. What was her name in the first Spider-Verse? Into the Spider-Verse. She was cool though. She was dope.
Well done.
Yeah, that part was so dope. When it was Miles, I was like, that's Miles.
But think about it though. In a way, we have our villains. The establishment.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted them to.
The establishment is the villain.
I just kind of wanted them to.
So I also think the Spot is a literal multiversal level villain. Yeah, is more than enough.
His threat level went through the roof by the end of that movie.
Yeah.
Where I was like, this dude is actually scary. Man.
He is threatening the multiverse. Yeah. So
he could crash everything.
All because of Miles.
Because Miles didn't take him seriously.
Right, because Miles didn't take him seriously.
But maybe that's because of Miguel, because Miguel didn't trust. He knew about Miles. He was watching Miles.
So about
the Spot originated in Miles' universe, so shouldn't Miguel have had more of an eye on?
Miguel knows Miles will choose his father.
Because exactly. So Miguel, and let's talk about that real quick. Because
do you trust Miguel? Do you trust Miguel? Do you think he's telling the truth? Did he really try to take control of another family in another dimension?
I definitely think there's something
that definitely happened.
I definitely think there's something missing to the story.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like there was something
that definitely happened.
I think there's something else.
I feel like there's definitely political commentary about Miguel telling Miles, "You don't belong here. You're the original anomaly." That was fucked up.
That was messed up.
That was fucked up because he was literally telling him you fucking fucking N-word. You don't belong here. You're not a Peter Parker. You're not a Spider-Man. You don't belong here. And I'm like, yo.
And you gonna tell me that in front of my hey, Gwen is right there. You gonna tell me that in front of her?
Dog.
So Gwen knew. Gwen knew.
But the directors of the movie confirmed that that's what that meant. Because that was basically Miguel representing all of the fucking people that say there should not be a black Spider-Man. He's not really a Spider-Man. He shouldn't be here. We need our white as red Peter Parker as Spider-Man. And they absolutely said that's definitely political that's definitely a social commentary to that.
And they've got to I hope I don't know if anybody talked about pointing out the fact that Miguel is also
Latino.
Not even Latino. He's also not fucking Peter Parker either.
No, he's not a Peter Parker. Right.
Right. Same as Miguel.
There's a parallel. He also doesn't belong here. You decided to fucking form this whole super team of Spider-Men.
Yeah,
to go out and make sure that all your Uncle Ben's died.
I didn't get it. I'm like, why exclude him? You know what I'm saying? Why exclude?
Because he knows he's his antithesis. He's his antithesis.
And
I can never say that
word.
He sees himself in Miles. Mm-hmm. And some people have certain reactions to that.
Yeah, they can't handle that.
In barrel?
They can't handle that.
I wanted to see Miguel have that moment where I was like, yo, he's dangerous, and he's I would just want to see him. I think
his presence and his words and his actions in general definitely said that.
He was scared.
He's a beast,
I
dude.
He was like,
like he's a beast, dude.
He was crawling up the
and just like his figure, it's like fearsome, dude.
Him
like
in action and him actually succeed
he
in what he was trying to
Miles'
do.
head into
Yo,
because he didn't get
that
Miles.
seemed like hate. Like that seemed like a hate.
I get what y'all
dude.
saying, but at the end of the day, he didn't get Miles. Miles escaped from him. So I wanted to see him go through and like actually be the badass and catch the guy and show us like, yo, I can take you down. I can do this. You know what I'm saying?
So this is one thing.
Miles outsmarted all of them. You know what I mean?
This is one thing.
It's like
this
a
is one
thousand
thing.
Spider-Man. I was like, where you
I
going?
loved about the storytelling is the fact that when Miles told the computer, "Take me home," it took him to the home of the spider that bit him, not his own universe. That's why he wound up in the wrong place. So that also brings up a whole lot. Right? That also was that
because it read his DNA.
It read the spider's DNA. It read this. It read the DNA. Yes, but the spider's DNA was that's where it came from.
I like this whole plan. Why did the girl allow him to go into the sphere again? Like
because she didn't agree with Miguel 100%.
But she went along. She's the only one. So 2,000 Spider-Man agreed, and she's the only one who didn't.
No, I don't think she's not the only one.
Fully agreed.
I don't think Spider-Woman fully agreed.
I feel like maybe they could have balanced this out more. My problem is if they would have showed a couple other Spider-Men fighting alongside Miles, kind of helping him along and getting him out.
Peter Party with the
like something like that.
He didn't fully agree either.
Yeah,
he didn't.
Spider-Man Noir didn't agree. Penny didn't agree.
They didn't actively. They didn't actively try to get Miles to escape. Like they didn't aid him in his escape.
They weren't there.
Miles did that all on his own.
They weren't there. Peter.
But I feel like they should have.
Peter did try to lend a hand with his words
to buy into my believability of him being able to escape all of them, because that was a lot of Spider-Man. I know Miles is Spider-Man, but they are too, and I don't know. I just felt like they're just as good as Miles Morales.
No,
they are They are Spider-Man.
Miles is a different. I'm not gonna say
in their universe they are Spider-Man. So you have those abilities.
I'm not gonna say they're better or Miles is better, but at the same time, Miles is different. He's a different Spider-Man, which means they're not the same.
Also, hey, let's just talk about that they were trying to catch him.
I think so. Yeah. They weren't trying to hurt him. Yeah, of course not.
Maybe they were trying to hurt him. It might have been different.
That's funny. That's funny. So another cool thing that I saw. I'm not sure if you guys remember from the first movie. Do you remember the part where when after Miles gets bit by the spider, he encounters Peter A. Parker?
Yeah.
So do you remember when they had like the spider sense resonance?
Scarlett, scroll to the one image where it was the spider sense. Yeah. Like
so you remember when they had the spider sense resonance? So did you happen to notice that Miles's colors changed from green and purple to blue and red?
There you go.
Did you happen to notice it?
I didn't. Not at the time.
I didn't at the time either. So that's a hell of a fucking clue. That's a hell of a fucking clue that he was going to become the Prowler in this world. Mm-hmm. But the spider came to this world. And you also notice that spider glitched right before biting him.
True.
Didn't catch it until they explained more story in the second movie. Dude. And you realize that spider didn't belong there because it was glitching. You just thought it was a cool animation effect or some shit, right? Yeah. The spider was glitching, bites the wrong Miles. This Miles was supposed to become the Prowler in this world. Yep. Instead, the other one. Because there was already a Spider-Man here.
Right, there was.
And there was already a Spider-Man here.
And he died
saving Miles. Yeah. He died saving Miles.
Start dealing with time.
And then as a result, the other Miles, who was supposed to be Spider-Man, became the Prowler.
And didn't have a Spider-Man.
And didn't have a dad. And his dad was gone.
So there was no Spider-Man, no dad, and there was no Spider.
There's no Spider-Man at all.
I thought his dad was funny in this show, though. Like,
he was.
Miles funny.
Yeah.
Yo, sorry. I wouldn't say like I loved like Miles' accent when he was like talking, like trying to hide his voice and stuff.
Yeah.
He was like X in New York. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you gotta be this big.
We gotta be this big.
I like when his mom saw Gwen.
Like they gotta let him breathe. Like we gotta be this big.
I like when his mom saw
Extra
Gwen
Brooklyn,
and she was
man.
Brooklyn.
She was like, "You're trying to steal our baby," and then she was like, popping up like a mom would do. In their conversation. I was like, "Okay, yeah."
I did like the fact that there was a lot more. There was a lot more character development all around, especially with Rio.
Yeah.
She played a much bigger role. Jeff took more of a backseat, but Rio played a much bigger role in this one.
Bro, and for real, I ship Miles and Gwen, though. Like, like if they don't end up together at the end of the third movie, I'm gonna be pissed off.
I'm sure they will.
I ship them.
I don't know how because it's a multiverse, but sure.
Well, yeah,
and real quick,
like,
I just want to say,
I hope they're not gonna search for him forever.
Oh yeah, no.
You know.
And real quick, I just want to say, you're watching the Intelligent Dead Talkers podcast show on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. And also, shout out to Scarlett, Juice Daughter. She's doing an excellent job on the wheels of steel.
DJ Nevi.
Like, I know Juice always handles all the
Wheels of
production. And we've been talking about having, like, a producer for all this time. And, like, she just clicking on the photos, switching them in and out, zooming in and out. You know what I mean? Like, for real, man. We need you around all the time. Like,
job.
Yeah, definitely do production. Yeah, man. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shoot, man. Out of 10, you got to give
11.
this movie.
11, man.
I don't know if I can give it.
This was a perfect score for me.
Yeah, it has to be.
There
was no bad part of this movie. It has to be.
I have no notes.
Like from
even the
Miles
first one was
growing up.
Yeah, man.
I
He
think so,
really
too.
grew up.
He grew up.
Gwen
man.
growing up. Yo, wasn't it fucking cool when like Gwen shows up and they're just swinging through the streets? And like you could see how much Miles grew as Spider-Man because he was hanging with her.
Yeah, and
you know,
confident.
like he was hanging with like the part that one part where they were swinging it by one leg.
Shouldn't she have been hanging with him? I mean, like, how was she so much more seasoned than him?
But she was Spider-Man way before he was.
She's older than him.
Way longer. Yeah, and she's older than him by not by
they from
much.
2 different universes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
so
she's been Spider-Man
to determine
for
how much longer you've been Spider-Man than I have when you're from a totally different universe.
Well, but she's literally older than him, and she was also Spider-Man, at least in his world.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Well before he became Spider-Man, before he was bitten.
When he was learning, she was already there.
She's already been there.
But like, man, like the like it's been a while since I've like been into like the romantic angle in the movie, but I'm invested.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Like I was just like when she dropped out of the portal onto his bed, and like she like immediately gave him the hug, and like even though when she was on the subway thinking about him, and you had the beat, the track playing in the background, I was not.
That soundtrack was great.
Yeah,
like from the very first song, I was
like,
I loved
same as the first movie.
Self-love.
I love the intro to this movie too, with Gwen telling the story, like the
over
recap. Fucking over the drums, so fucking dope.
Her
so well done,
too.
So fucking well done. It's just like she's talking about Miles and how he's not the only one, about how she's Gwen and she's not the only one. And I'm like, yo, this is so fucking
this movie
cool.
don't win all the awards. Like
it better fucking win the best animated picture for sure.
Like better
every animated category. I'm sure
it has to knock it out. It has to. This is,
like,
but this is literally movie of the year.
On this animation, like his expression, dude, like the way he moves through emotions as he's talking. Dude, remember when he came to and he thought he was talking to his mom, and it was like, "I beat him, mom," and he hit the pose like, "I beat him."
He's like, "I did it.
Like I did it.
Yeah,
I beat everybody." And you felt that, John. Like I felt that. It felt like Boys in the Hood. It was like so. Was it black? Man. I don't know, but I felt that, Joe.
You did beat everybody, Miles, and I'm still wondering how. How did you beat all those Spider-Men?
You beat them, man.
He just ran from them. He didn't beat them all. He didn't beat them all hand to hand. He just ran from them.
Been able to run
but
from
he
them.
knew, right? He knew. He was like,
They're not him.
I did that.
They're Peter Parker.
He was
They're
like,
not him.
I did that. I'm grown. Like I can handle this.
Just like George Clooney is not
a good
Michael
Batman.
Keaton, but they are both Batman.
They're both Bruce
Wayne.
Wayne.
Both. Is George Clooney better than Michael Keaton?
Is Peter Parker and Miles Morales
Who
are not the same person?
George Clooney or Michael Keaton?
That's not
it's
the
hard to know because they're both Batman.
Point. That's not the point.
It's
Peter Parker and Miles Morales are not the same person.
They're all Spider-Man.
They're not the same person.
Who would win in the fight, George Clooney or?
Based upon
this movie,
why don't you call the actors? Why don't you call the actors and see?
Based upon this movie, Michael Keaton gonna
I
whip his
get the
ass.
feeling that Michael Keaton is more gritty. You know, he's like an old rough old man.
Michael
I
Keaton
feel
was gritty in
like pretty
soft.
boy.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael Keaton was gritty in Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming, man. I think it was that part where he was on the ferry. Right. He slammed that dude's head into the joint twice. Yeah, that was great.
Vulture.
Yeah.
True.
I like Michael Keaton, man. But it's hard to say who would win. I mean, we don't know. So wait,
it's different.
Is this computer generated or is it hand drawn?
Can Spider-Man sense?
See, you would say that, but like like you notice on the spot, you could kind of see some of his hand drawn, like they left him kind of
stylistic choice.
Yeah, I know it's a stylistic, but is it hand drawn overlaid with computer?
No,
or it's all computer.
All CGI.
I don't know.
All CGI.
I don't know. I feel like
look it up, dog.
I feel like it was like
look it up, dog. It's all CGI. Look it up.
D, hey, nobody hand draws no more. Like,
it's too hard.
It takes too long. D, do you remember the Patriots did that job? Flipping it, they don't do that no more. Like it's all in Blender, man. Like it's all it's all like digital. It's all on the computer now, man. Like it's dope though, man. I love that shit. Though.
Across the Spiderverse.
Yeah, man. I also. Oh my God. Okay, so the bigger picture.
Hand drawn.
The bigger picture issue.
We're going to theory now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got?
No.
Okay. Well, so the bigger picture is that you see.
So this says most importantly, and this is according to I don't know. I'm gonna say most importantly, Across the Spider-Verse is an absolute visual feast. Into the Spider-Verse was groundbreaking in its combination of modern computer animation with hand-drawn art. The animators brought comic books to life and combined worlds into one captivating extravaganza. So I guess some of the scenes were hand-drawn. Because, I mean, a lot of the characters had the hand-drawn, stenciled out. So it's like, why would you do that on a computer?
Like that's still a stylistic choice. Well,
I think it's stylistic, too. I think it was.
Do that on a computer, though.
Like, I can do that, John, with my phone.
Yeah.
Like, you can take it's like a filter.
But
mix 2D and 3D and combine hand-drawn and computer-generated images and add details like speech bubbles and colors that bleed into each other.
So one theory. So
it is hand-drawn.
So I have two.
That's not what that means.
I have two prevalent theories. I have two prevalent theories.
So what was it? 30% hand-drawn and 70% computer-generated.
Probably,
so it's still hand-drawn.
Probably less of a ratio.
But it's still hand-drawn.
I have two prevalent theories. One. I feel like now Miles is stuck in this world. I feel like he's going to hopefully somehow turn Prowler Miles, to be the good person that he was always meant to be as Spider-Man.
Once he tells him about his dad,
Second, I feel like one of Miles's parents is going to die, and it's not going to be Jeff. I feel like it's going to be Rio because
in his real world,
stop. Don't do that.
I feel like it's going to be her.
Don't do that, man.
I feel like it's going to be her.
They're going to have any like kind of bitter.
I feel like it's going to be her.
Like this.
I feel like one of his parents is going to die, so he can save Jeff, but Rio has to go.
Nah.
I feel like that's going to be what happens.
Everybody calm down. Everybody relax, all right? Like everybody chill,
relaxed.
man.
I am relaxed.
Everybody calm down. Like that can't be the situation.
I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Rio is always there. She's the one.
Is she?
Yes.
Is she?
She is.
Is she?
She is.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
Is she?
In fact, I don't think either one has to die because he's already the hero he needs to be. So the fact that it's not necessary to the story.
But what makes Spider-Man is that defining element of tragedy.
His uncle dies, who did die.
His uncle died.
Yeah.
His uncle died, true. But still, this is an issue of his dad dying. This whole thing is about his dad dying, right? His whole thing is about him going back to save his father.
The only reason Miles' dad died in the video game is because his uncle wasn't there to die.
I don't even remember why his dad died in the video game. I gotta play that again.
Like something die.
Yeah.
What can you say? Say they got to die.
I like how it was all different events.
His dad was dead already when you start the game. So
yeah. But he has powers in it.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he has
play
powers.
that game again.
So he had to die.
I like how it was all different events.
There had to be a sacrifice made. But he already made that sacrifice with his uncle. He was close with his uncle.
Some timelines it was his uncle. Some timelines it was his dad. Some timelines it was Gwen. Some timelines it was Uncle Ben.
I feel like
had to be that tragic moment.
I feel like it's going to be.
I think they're going to find a way to subvert that.
At the very least,
not have the tragic moment happen at all.
It's going to be bittersweet. It's going to be that Rio is going to die.
Nah.
Jeff is going to survive. Rio is going to die, and it's going to go with the canonical storyline where Jeff finds out that Miles is Spider-Man and that he blames Miles for her dying, which is why they drift apart in the comics.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how they were going to end this trilogy off because
I'm not caught up in the comics, but I am.
How did you feel when you know it was going to be a trilogy
in the comics? What are you talking about? Oh, man, come on, man. Everybody, calm down.
Did you know? Did you know it was going to be a trilogy?
Yeah.
Going into it,
well, not a trilogy, but like I did
going into Across the Spiderverse. Did you know it was going to be to continue?
Yes,
to be continued.
Yes. Because originally,
did you know?
Because originally,
I didn't know
the original title.
I knew when his uncle walked in the door. I was like,
I knew when Miles showed up.
We
I was like, they don't have enough time. Yeah,
like we're already at like 2.5 hours.
When Uncle Aaron walked in, I was like,
how did you feel?
We got the time for this.
Yeah.
How did you feel when it said to be continued on the screen?
I was like,
I wanted to throw my gummies, dog. I was like, what?
I can't end there.
Outrage.
I can't end there.
Yeah, I was like,
what a way
outrageous.
No, real talk. I was like, yes.
There's more.
I was like,
because there's
yes,
more.
there's more. I can do this again.
Get it.
And we only gotta wait a year.
We
only gotta wait a year.
Damn,
we gotta wait till next year.
What happens
next year?
Yeah, we only gotta wait a year.
I was like, how are they gonna wrap this up? I mean, you got all this
I think
stuff
it comes out next August.
Bro, they gotta give Hobie some shit.
When I realized it was Miles, I was like, okay, this is definitely gonna be to continue because they don't have enough time. Like we've been.
So can we talk about how cool like Dark Miles was? We're gonna call him Dark Miles, right?
I was calling Prowler Miles, but yeah, sure.
I'd rather be
like the way he was like crouched up on the beam, and he was just like watching the whole time.
He was also his suit was powerful enough to knock out Spider-Man. It's powerful enough to knock out Spider-Man.
So like, was his uncle like his sidekick or something? Well, I didn't know uncle be like
trainer.
He got I'm having my own suit. I'm not just gonna be
his uncle. Yeah, he probably inherited that suit.
Yeah,
they probably built it. They probably built his own version or something like that. But yeah, in that
I didn't
world,
trust the uncle at all. I was like, "Why are you coming to visit his mama, man? And what is dad at? Oh,
Dad's not around.
Okay,
he's not around.
Dad in here.
Everybody was like,
that's why I think Prowler. That's why I think Prowler Miles will turn because he's gonna tell him about his dad, and Prowler Miles is gonna come back around. That's my father, man. I can't. We're not gonna let my father.
I feel like that's definitely going to happen, and I feel like that's going to buy him enough time for Gwen and crew to come and save him.
Prowler always had that element of like
redeemability,
being able to come back over to the good side. So like he'll definitely like between Miles, good Miles, and his uncle being like, maybe we don't have to do it like this. So he'll come over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure. I just want to see him fight.
Yo, you guys remember that? You
fight.
Yo, like I got like a little scared, like when because when he has Miles tied to the bag and he starts playing Ain't No Love. And I was like, yo, this is fucking a torture scene right now. And then he fucking takes the fucking gauntlet and punches the bag and it fucking explodes. And I'm like, yo, Miles is dead.
I was like, what? But you gotta hang on to like, they're not gonna kill the main character all like this.
Like they like if he hit Miles, if he actually hit Miles with that, like Miles would have been paced.
Oh, he'd have split his wig for sure, bro. For real. Yeah, he'd have peeled his muffin top for real. I was just saying that joke all day.
What theories do you have?
Peeled his cap back.
That's old school right there, bro. They was talking about splitting people's wigs in 2001.
You know what I'm saying?
Wigs, bro.
What theories do you have?
His bubble.
He peeled his muffin top, bro. That joke there used to go on.
Yo, Ghostface ass line.
Yeah, for real. I'm telling you, man. Ghost used to have some crazy jokes. Yo, crazy shots went off. Yeah. That was old school, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie, man. I don't know how anybody could like the first one over the second one. They were both great to me. I can't wait to see the third one. Luckily, we don't have to wait that long. Doom Part 2. Juice, did you ever see Doom?
Nope.
You never saw Doom?
Nope.
Oh, bro, you gotta watch that joint, man. Yeah,
I did see the trailer for the new one, and it looks interesting. I'm like,
the
first one didn't look interesting.
It didn't, but when you watch it and you get into the story, you're like, okay, this is, House of Paul Atreides, the betrayal, all that.
I might watch the first one so I can maybe watch the second.
And by the time the second one, the first one ends, you're like, why we gotta wait so long? Because that came out of what, 2020? Is it 2020? 2021?
2021.
So it's been 2 years now.
Yeah.
Since we, yeah. And it's not supposed to come out for another half year. November, I think you said. Mm-hmm. All right. So, yeah.
I know. I'm just waiting for Star Wars shit to come out.
Like, what's the next Star Wars thing?
Ahsoka. And I know they're working on...
September.
I heard they're working on a tie-in movie. Like the movie to tie Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Kenobi up. Was it Kenobi?
I was not a fan of Kenobi. Excuse me, Kenobi, man.
No, you don't like Kenobi?
I didn't like.
I'll
too slow and.
I liked it.
You don't need lightsabers to be Star Wars, and the Mandalorian proves that. But just Kenobi,
I could have done with more action. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It was a little slow, but I liked like the Easter eggs they put in that jump.
Yeah,
like there was a lot of Easter eggs in there that I was just like really happy with. Like the Cole Quinlan Voss is out that jump somewhere. That was like, I wanted his ass to show up.
Everybody does that because see all y'all motherfuckers done seen Rebels and all that, man. Y'all be like reference all these guys from Rebels and whatnot. All I've seen is Clone Wars,
but yeah,
that's all I've seen, man. I do gotta watch Rebels. So.
Rebels was cool, man. Like real talk, man.
I heard it was, and it's canon. It's part of the story.
It's canon, yeah. Rebels shit is gonna be all up in Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I literally just finished it.
Yeah.
So that shit was dope. Like I was about to not watch it. I was like, what the fuck this is?
Mm-hmm.
But no, that shit was cool.
Yeah.
And then there something called the Acolyte, and then they got the New Jedi Order, where I heard they're talking about Finn actually being finally Force sensitive.
Oh shit!
I
heard about that, Joe.
Yeah,
I'll believe when I see it. Right?
Yeah.
They were like, but it's supposed to be
Finn
a bucket of chicken. Rey
I'll be mad.
Restarting a school.
They're gonna have Finn floating a biscuit and fire over to him. Yeah,
you guys
just bringing that joint over to him.
Come on,
stop that.
Don't do it.
So disappointing, y'all. All right, man. Well, yeah. I guess you want to pivot to Trump, man. How long we been? It was about a 2.5 hour cast. So Trump is getting jailed again.
Yeah,
we wanted to cover something pretty serious real quick. I know we've been doing a lot of pop
politics. I have my link up.
Say hello, Dad. I don't know.
This is a random. Hello, hi, hello, viewer. Welcome to the cast.
What's his name?
It says okay.
Hello, okay. Is that his name? He's just like okay.
That's his name.
Welcome, okay, to the cast. All right, so I pulled up a link.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. So talking about Trump. So Trump. Let me just read the headline here. This is a timeline of the investigation of Trump's handling of classified documents. Trump is accused of breaking several laws and is charged with 37 felony counts, each related to the retention of hundreds of classified government documents, according to an indictment unsealed Friday. Are we done here? I think we're done here, right? Like Trump is.
Yep, going to jail.
I don't think.
But I don't know about jail, but his ass is definitely run for.
Talk about establishment.
So that's the picture. So this is him in the courtroom, and what I heard was pretty much that during the whole thing, he ain't say shit.
I wouldn't either.
Oh.
Everything I say is going to incriminate me. I'm not saying anything to any of you.
Well, yeah, that's because you're a rational person.
Yeah.
But like Trump usually can't not say shit.
And he can't, at this point, you probably can't help but buy into
They literally had to have his tongue handcuffed.
He's probably one of the most popular people on the planet Earth, negative or positive. He is going to draw attention. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably hard for someone like him to bite his tongue and not say anything. But when you're under this much scrutiny, especially so how is this going to work? Because they're saying that this trial might last, into election season, and you can't have someone running for the office of president who's under indictment, can you?
There's no rule saying you can't.
You can't. They're right, because it's never happened. But
because who'd have thought we'd have got here?
If this happens, if he runs for president while going through this trial, he's going to win the presidency, dog. I totally believe it. This is one of boost.
Why would you think that?
Popularity and the fact that it's never been done.
Because he can spin it, right?
Yeah. He can spin it.
But I mean, like,
and that's part of what it is. Because
like,
the average person doesn't know enough about what the president all
what
you
his
hear
crimes
over your
were.
head.
I think everybody understands that you're not supposed to have top secret documents.
He ain't the first one.
No, but he's the only one that didn't give them back.
Yeah,
and that he lost some.
Whether I have the document or whether I have the knowledge, you pretty much telling me you got to mind wipe me to make me totally safe. You know what I mean? Like, because I can have a document and turn it back in, but I can remember the information. So it's like, I feel like this is a witch hunt for Donald Trump. I feel like somebody wants his head on a stake, and they're gonna do what they got to do to get it.
I'll be honest. I don't know like the intricacies of how documents are laid out, but I assume that the top secret is not like 5 sentences.
But I'm sure they don't say
I'm
top
pretty sure
secret
it's
across the
it's
document.
redacted.
You can deem any document a top secret, depending on the subject matter, right?
Yes,
So who deems what's top secret and what's not?
The people who just designated top
So
secret.
if they have something like
the people who wrote it.
if they have something like Edward Snowden, who's reporting how they're using telecommunications to spy on you, right? I mean, is he wrong? If they say that's top secret information, and Edward Snowden puts it out there to the public, is Edward Snowden a villain?
Well, wait a minute. Are we talking about what's villain, what's right and wrong?
If Edward Snowden had took
Trump did.
Now, if Edward Snowden had took those papers and took them into his home and had that information,
Trump didn't tell us anything.
He didn't. But what top secret
did
documents are we talking about here? These ghost secret documents. What was on those documents? What
I
document did you find at his house?
I think
what
one of
on
them,
because that matters then.
I think one of them that's missing
because Edward Snowden got in trouble for telling the truth. If he had those documents at his house and said, "Yo, these telecommunications companies are spying on you," and had those documents at his house
and the government,
but didn't reveal it to the public,
then you have
a villain.
But then you have an argument for a whistleblower, which is what his case was about. Is he a whistleblower? Right. So it's not whether or not he was hiding top secret documents. It's whether or not you were taking something that should have been revealed to people and exposing a lie and a mistruth.
And it's not like
to
Trump
the public,
revealed anything off these documents. I just want to know what was on these documents.
So if I remember, one of them was
because if it's big enough to indict a former president of the United States, you should tell us what documents he was there.
One of the ones that was missing is a government plan of how we would invade.
I think I heard
I can't remember what
something with an invasion or something like that. Yeah.
How would we do an invasion? No,
but that seems like a witch hunt at that point.
Iran. It was a document of how we would invade Iran.
Because Donald Trump deals with thousands of papers over those 4 years he was president. He don't know what the hell is in it. They show up with a box of files and at his house, and
so I got going through
it. He don't know what the hell is in there.
But here's the thing, right?
You think Donald Trump was busting those open and reading those? No,
but he took them. And
somebody took him who was at his place.
Wait a minute. Did you know anything about this case?
Just the broad strokes. And I don't think any of us know anything about this case because we don't even know what was on the documents.
We don't need to know what's on the documents.
Yes, we do. That matters. If it's that important enough to bring him to trial and indict him, we need to know what was on these documents.
If we knew what was on it,
you took on top secret documents. Who's deeming that they're top secret, and what was on these documents that they deemed top secret?
Top secret stuff. The government and top secret stuff.
Anytime, so the government could take a piece of mail and stamp top secret on it, and that just makes it top secret.
Yes.
They can, but context matters, and what was on those documents. My issue is
it doesn't matter.
You can't just phantomly bring up.
Hey, if it was a cheat code for how to hack the PS5, if it was a cheat code for how to hack the PS5, and the government was like top secret, guess what? To you and me. This is top secret. We better not.
But context matters. Oh, it was only
better not touch that.
It was only a top secret code
unless you got clearance. Unless you in a skiff and you got clearance.
It was only a top. Now, was it something that could harm somebody in government? Was it something positive? Was it something negative? We don't know. That's what I'm saying.
What we do know,
it seems like you're sending me on a wild goose chase and a witch hunt.
What we do know is that we're not.
It seems like I am supposed to fulfill someone's vendetta against Donald Trump and carry those same feelings into this indictment. Right. Who's bringing the charge? Now, all we have is who's the lawyer that was brought out as the face of this case that brought the indictment against Donald. I don't know his name. I didn't research it. There's a specific lawyer. They were talking about him on the news, and he was you know I'm talking about. They were talking about who he knows and who he is, but you can't
special not that
special prosecutor or something like that. I heard his name. Some guy in Florida.
Jack Smith? No, Merrick Garland appointed Jack Smith, former chief prosecutor, according to Hague, as a special counsel providing over the 2 investigations. So I think it was Jack Smith. Yeah, Jack Smith.
I don't know.
Merrick Garland appointed him.
Who the hell knows? If it's so top secret, at least tell us what it's dealing with. It was information regarding Afghanistan. It does.
But what if it was aliens?
Because if we don't need to know, that means you can deem anything top secret.
Yes, you can.
You can. That's within your right. You can.
That's
but
within the right of the government.
Context matters.
Oh yeah, there were apparently Colleen said that there are some nuclear codes. Do you need to know the nuclear codes?
The
that
nuclear
you should
codes
know it?
change. I'm sure they don't give you nuclear codes on November 12th, and they're the same nuclear codes on January 12th.
Hey D, that goalpost?
But
You
come
just
on,
knew that
man.
shit. D, that goalpost?
They're
You were just
nuclear
like
codes. Yeah,
you
right.
knew that shit across the table.
That's what they do with nuclear codes. They move them. You know what I mean? The nuclear codes.
So
he
which
has
ones
at
are we
Marcialago,
okay to have? Which ones are we okay to have?
Donald.
Which ones?
Do you have a
Which
picture?
ones are we
do you
okay
have
to
a
have?
picture of those boxes?
Which
you
ones
just
do
have
you
on that
think?
phone?
Which
Because
ones?
Donald Trump ain't went through
D,
none
which
of them
nuclear
boxes.
codes do you want?
Donald Trump didn't even know
The new
them
ones?
boxes was on
The
in his
old
house.
ones? Any of them?
When they pulled them
You
boxes
want
in
a
there, Donald
pattern
Trump was
of
like,
how they might-
where y'all get
Do you
those
want a
from?
pattern of how they might designate new nuclear
You
codes?
think Donald Trump was sorting through any of them file boxes?
Yes. In fact,
I do not.
well,
I
here,
don't.
let me
That's
tell
why
you
Donald
about.
Trump has a team. He has a
Let
team
me
of people
tell
to
you.
handle that stuff.
Well, he didn't because
He might be the one that's being
because
held
he-
accountable
he
because
hid
it was
them
his
shits.
administration.
Okay, do you know anything about this?
Donald Trump did not carry those file boxes and hide them personally in his closet.
All right,
That's ridiculous to even think. I mean, because you know why that's ridiculous? Because you don't even know what was in those was top secret about the whole thing. All you know is that it was top secret.
We don't have clearance to know what is in those documents.
There you go.
So it doesn't
So
matter.
it's called.
What do you mean? There you go.
There you go. Is that they're telling you what you should be upset about. Now I'm with Spider-Punk on this one. You're dealing with the establishment. You're going with the establishment.
Yes.
But you said Spider-Punk shouldn't do it.
Well,
You said Spider-Punk was
Spider-Punk does his own
and that he
thing.
was cool because he was like that. But you're going with the establishment
because
on
I
this.
thought he was cool.
Because they're telling you what you should care about. You don't know what was on those top secret documents, but you know that Donald Trump should be indicted for it.
All right, let me ask a
Because they
couple
told you.
questions. Let me just ask a couple questions.
What was on the top secret documents, right?
What was on the top secret documents?
That's the big question.
So
That's
do
what
you
I would
need,
like to know.
so for something to be secret, do you need to know what it is?
When it's this high profile, dealing with the expert, yes.
No.
Context matters.
Wait.
And
So you're saying
we might not need to know the details, but we
just
need
make
to
sure
know
I
the
get
broad
you right.
strokes.
Let me just make sure I get you right.
You can't
You're
just say phantom documents.
Let me ask.
It's-
Let me just ask you.
It's too broad.
So
and
you're
encompassing.
saying, D, you're saying that for something to be a secret, you need to know what it is.
No, but
Then who needs to know?
Context
Wait.
matters.
Who needs to know what it is?
the people who are
Who are
indicting him, the people who
responsible?
are defending him, the judge
I
in
think
this
they
case,
know. I think they
and
know.
we don't. The general public doesn't,
We don't.
which is why it's a witch hunt. They want you to be mad at Donald Trump. The only people who are
one
the
more
only
time.
people who are
D,
on the
one more time.
Okay.
You're saying that we need to know what is secret.
No, I didn't say that.
No. Oh, okay.
I said context matters, and that we
All right,
don't
answer
know
my
what.
question.
That's the problem.
So do we need to know?
No.
Depends on what the secret is. If it's top secret nuclear codes,
We don't
No.
know. We don't
if
have
it's
clearance to know.
if it's
what?
something dealing
We
with
don't have clearance
national
to know.
security as far as a terrorist threat or a bomb threat or whatever, cyber security,
Do
then
we
yes, we could need to know that.
But
Shouldn't that be made public?
No.
If you're willing to take this man to trial,
D, when you're
What would
if you're
do
willing to
for
take this man to trial and tell
When you're
me
trying
that
to
he's
determine-
guilty and I should think that
when
he's
you're
guilty,
trying to
do I
determine,
not need to know why
when
he
you're
should be
trying
guilty?
to determine who a murderer is in a specific case,
You
and
have to prove
and
that
you-
he's innocent.
wait.
He's guilty.
and
You have to prove that he
and
murdered
you
that
have-
person.
Yes, you do have.
So
to
we
prove
have to prove that he took something top secret that I should care about.
That is not what that means. You
Who
just
told
said
you
that.
that?
You're just saying things.
Wait,
Like you're just saying.
I can accuse
like,
Frank of murder, but if I don't have proof that Frank did the
That's not
murder,
I
then
didn't get to finish
did
my
Frank
analogy,
murder
so now
somebody?
you're talking about murder in the context I didn't bring up.
okay,
I didn't get to finish my analogy, right?
all right.
But ultimately, what I'm getting to is that we don't have to know every secret to know that it's a secret, right? And we don't, and the government or the public doesn't need to clear what is secrets before it becomes secret. Before it becomes secret, because then it wouldn't be secret if we get to choose what's secret.
Sounds very establishment. That's called compartmentalization of
D,
information.
I'm
I
not
think Nick Fury had a line about this.
anti-establishment.
Nobody
Am
knows
I-
all the secrets,
D, am I an anarchist?
so nobody can spill all the secrets to anybody.
Am I an anarchist because I like Hobie?
Of course not.
Okay, then what are we talking about? Why you keep talking about whether or not it's anti-establishment or not? That's irrelevant to this situation. We have an establishment and we live within it.
Right.
That's why you go to work every day.
I'm talking about
That's why you follow-
anti-establishment
that's
as
why you
far as
stop at
you
stop
guys'
signs.
argument
D,
that
that's why
Toby
you
was
stop
cool.
at stop signs. We
Right.
can establish that
And
we
you know
live.
what? Spider-Punk wouldn't
within-
stop at stop signs by your definition. He was
Fascinating.
cool because he wouldn't
We
stop at
live
stop
in the
signs, right?
society and we follow the rules. That's what we're able to live the lives we live now.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Right.
So under that structure, we have a government that also implements a number of rules. And our input, we do.
But you speed all the time. Do you speed when you drive your car?
That's irrelevant.
So you should find yourself because you follow the rules.
The way we make our voice heard to a government, the way we make our voice heard to the government is we vote, right? Now, we have a number of issues with our voting systems, but that's a whole nother thing, right?
Right.
Now, the situation we're dealing with right now with Trump and top secret documents is that there are documents and there are stuff on that documents that people cannot know, right? Because it may be you have to have clearance because it may be a threat to national security. So wait. It may be a threat to national security if everybody knows.
Right.
And if you let everybody know what's on the documents before you make it secret to determine what people think, everybody thinks is secret, they already know it.
Right.
So it can't be secret.
So
therefore,
you're basically saying that you don't know why you should be mad that Trump had these top secret documents. You personally don't know because you don't know what was on those documents.
I know two things.
But you know you should be mad at Trump.
Two
That's
things.
What it sounds like.
Here, I know two things for a fact that are on those documents.
Right. What's
that
on
are okay? Nuclear codes.
Sure.
And
so those were 20 boxes full of nuclear codes? And
an American government plan to invade Iran.
Bro, we don't even know where that picture of the boxes was taken. We don't know that was Marcialago. We don't know that. That's a room full of boxes. You don't know where that was. You don't know where that picture was taken at. They put that on there and said, this is the picture that they took in down there. He said, oh, man. So which box holds the top secret one that he's being indicted for? Which
if I do that, I would be fucking sitting next to his ass.
All of them, all of them hold the box. Or is it the one in the middle on the right that's further right? The point is we don't know, and you're being told why you should be upset.
No one here is aware of the nuclear code distribution system.
We don't even know if they were nuclear codes.
How did they?
That's the point.
Wait, well, I don't have to know because it's as.
But you know you should be mad at him. You were already mad at him before this.
Wait. Why are you talking about the word now? I'm mad at him.
Because you fully support his indictment. But you don't know if he's guilty or not.
I'm having a great time. Like, this is great. Like, this is so much fun.
You don't know if Donald Trump is lawfully guilty, but you know that he's guilty in your mind.
In my mind?
In your mind, he's guilty already. So Donald Trump should go down.
Those pictures
and these top
secret documents is pretty. This is fucking hilarious.
Are they top secret documents or are they covered boxes?
This isn't a fucking bathroom, bro. Like this thing is fucking. Trump is wilding. Like, can we establish that Trump is wilding?
It's 20 boxes stacked in a bathroom.
Why are you defending Trump so hard?
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Why do you love him so much?
I'm not defending Trump.
Why are you defending him so hard? Why don't you let him stand up for himself?
I'm not defending
Why are you
Trump.
protecting him?
I'm saying that we don't have all the facts. They compartmentalize information.
Don't you? You believe everything Trump says, don't you?
Of course,
don't you believe everything Trump says? He believes everything Trump says. That's crazy. Why do you believe everything Trump says?
I don't pay attention to Donald Trump.
Like, that's called
one thing I will say for Donald Trump
over and over again that doesn't make any sense.
He's a very memorable president. He's more memorable than Joe Biden, who you voted for last election, right?
I
voted for Joe Biden.
Did you?
I did. No, I did not.
Who'd you vote for?
But you're still talking about Trump 3 years later.
Did you vote for Trump?
No, I didn't vote at all. The last couple of elections, I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Biden. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? You voted for Hillary over Trump because, as I recall on the podcast, it was the lesser of two evils.
It was, yeah.
Doesn't seem like a good reason to vote for me. Who you gonna vote for?
I think I was right.
Are you gonna vote for anybody?
I think I was right. I think I've been proven right.
Are you gonna vote for?
Look
anybody?
At this nigga. Look.
But you're gonna vote for anybody that's running against him.
I think I was right.
My point to say that
look at this nigga.
It's not that he's a sleazeball. I'm not defending Trump. But the thing is, we don't know all the facts. We know what the media presents to us. We know that picture where there's 20 boxes stacked inside of room.
How does your car work, D?
We don't.
How does your car work?
We don't know. You go turn the key and press the gas pedal and it goes.
But you don't know that in your car. How do you know that it runs?
That's why I'm not a mechanic.
I think you should put water in it.
So do you have a?
Because if you put water in it,
but I'm not a mechanic.
No.
So if I was a political analysis,
that's all you need. That's all you need. You just water and sugar.
Right.
You don't know. You just believe it because that's what they tell you, D.
No, because I go put gas in it and it still goes. I can physically see why my car works.
They're playing you.
No, I can physically see why my car works. I put new tires on it. There's air in the tires. I got gas in the car. My seatbelts work. The car starts up.
Bro, I heard it was helium.
I know more about how my car runs than you know about what's in those boxes.
Yeah?
Yes.
How you know that helium?
Guaranteed. We all know more about our cars than what we know what's
in your tires, D. How do you know that?
Because I put air in it. I have an air pump in the car. How
Yeah,
do you know what's
there's
in
an
those
air pump
boxes?
in the car?
Those could be
I
boxes
think
full of
that shit's
shoes.
fucking. I think your air pump's full of
All the
helium.
lids are on those.
D, that shit's fucking full of helium,
Listen,
man.
look at this picture. Those, if that's what they're telling us it is, those boxes should be spread open. There should be documents there that we can see. It doesn't have to reveal top secret government deep
guess
state
what?
information, but it should be some kind of context
let me
of
say
why
this.
I should be mad at this man.
D,
All I know is that there was a vendetta against him while he was
Let me ask you a
president.
question. Let me ask you a question.
Vendetta against him before he was president.
Can I ask you a question?
He's still more polarizing than the current president of the United States.
What's that got to do with
We're
it?
still talking
What's that
about
got to do with
this
him
man
doing
will
illegal
probably
shit?
be elected president in
What's
2024.
that
You
got
guys
to do
realize
with him
that.
doing illegal shit?
Right?
Probably not.
You don't think so? I think y'all are tripping. I think American popularity.
I think he's going to run.
I think that's gonna run.
Let me
deep,
say that.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna run.
I think they'll
he's
vote
gonna
for him
run,
just because his
No, I think
presidency
he's
is
going to run
different.
out of the country. I think Trump finna run.
One thing with Trump,
here,
I will say,
D,
you're not bigger. You're not bigger
answer
than
my
the
question.
establishment.
Answer-
You're not bigger.
D,
So when
D,
you run
can you
afoul of the
answer my
wrong
question
people
real
in the
quick?
wrong systems,
One
you
question.
can be had too.
One question. If these the documents in this box were laid out, right?
Right.
And that Jones just said top
Why does
secret.
he have them in a bathroom?
No. If
Donald
that
Trump don't have
if
an
those
office where he can
documents-
store those?
D, if those documents were laid out, right, and the papers were laid out, and they had the words on them, but the words were blacked out, right?
Okay.
Because it's top secret, you
Right.
know. How would you know it's top secret?
How would you know it? How would I know it's top secret?
How would
I
you?
wouldn't believe that they were top secret.
Oh,
That
you
shouldn't
wouldn't
be a love
But you
letter.
just said that if it had to be laid out, right? But that you
Right.
could, you
No.
wouldn't see the
I
words.
would have to be able to see.
You wouldn't see the words.
I would have
because-
to have context.
I mean,
Hughes.
but then you have to.
You can't block out a page and tell me, well, this is top secret information because I don't know what's on the page.
I think that's the point.
That is the point, and I get it because it's top secret. But in a you're not going to reveal nuclear codes. You're not going to put a page on the floor with nuclear codes on it, right?
So what top secret
But when
information do you want, dude?
these are
What
boxes
top
and
secret
boxes
information do you
and
want?
boxes of files, Juice.
Uh-huh.
There has to be some. If you're telling me this top secret
Here.
information is in there has to be something.
Can you acknowledge
can give
that
the
there were
public
nuclear codes?
that reveals the nature to which these documents were top secret.
If-
You can't just tell me they were top secret, and I just say, okay, indict them.
Here. If
because I don't know what's in those boxes. Those could be shoes.
let me say if
It's a picture.
if they were top secret documents, right, and if one of those were nuclear codes, which we've been told by the council that they have,
They don't
found-
keep nuclear
Let
codes
me
on
say-
paper anymore. It's a digital age. That's
You
why I don't even
don't
believe
know
this
what-
mess.
you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's the
Okay.
government, dude.
It
The
is
government-
government. I can see that. They do
But
have
here,
files.
here, let me say this, let me
Until
say
the end
this.
of time.
Let me say this, D.
I don't
Now
know.
we've been told by the council that they
I mean, the paper
found
money is being
that he
wiped
had
out.
nuclear codes, and we've been told by the council that there are missing documents that had a plan for an invasion to Iran. Right? Those are top secret documents that Trump that they know he had in his possession.
Mhm.
Right? They know what is missing. They're saying that that's missing and that he had this. Now, this is what they're saying that they verified. Those are two offenses. Right? Wait. Is
You know I was about to rebuttal. You know I was about to rebuttal.
So you think that's okay? If it's just two?
I don't believe.
Is it okay if it's just two?
I personally don't believe that Donald Trump took top secret invasion plans to
I don't care what
Iraq
you
and
believe.
stuffed them in his coat pocket to keep them at his house.
He didn't.
I
He took
don't
boxes.
believe that Trump took
He
that.
took boxes.
He
didn't
might
take-
have. Trump has a team. He has
Yeah.
people that run it. You don't
Uh-huh.
think Obama has top secret stuff in his? And you know what Obama was?
Hey, guess what?
He
It turns
was
out
an
Biden had
establishment
some.
man.
It turns out Biden had some, and it turns out that Pence had
So
some.
why isn't Biden being indicted?
Because he gave him back.
Why isn't Pence being indicted?
Because he gave him
Because
back.
did he give him back? I heard they weren't. I don't know if he gave him back. I heard
Trump
they
is the
dismissed
only
his
nigga-
case or something.
Trump is the only nigga that moved them,
Trump was
and then
Trump was
lied
hated.
and said he gave them all back, and then found out that he had more.
Why would he do that though?
But he did it. I don't know.
Now
Because
who
he's
told you he
crazy.
did that? I
That's
don't-
the way he
Because he's
is.
nuts. Look. Is that a sane man to you?
Donald Trump is a
Look
wealthy
at those
millionaire.
little beady eyes. Is that a sane
Donald
person?
Trump was a wealthy millionaire way before he was president. He's not stupid. Okay, so whatever y'all want to say about Trump,
That's debatable.
Because Trump-
I seriously think
Trump
that's
is
debatable,
not
bro.
a stupid man, bruh. Okay,
Define stupid.
dude. Knowledge of the capitalist system and how to work real estate and knowledge of money and how to move money around. He was a
inherited his mill.
multi-million. He inherited it, but he grew it as well.
He inherited, and
He
he
grew
also
it as
went
well, bro.
bankrupt 6 times
Now, bankrupt is a loose term.
It is a loose term.
It doesn't mean you're flat
But
broke.
most
Michael
good-
Jackson went bankrupt, didn't he?
How many times
Michael
did
Jackson
Elon Musk
wasn't
go
broke.
bankrupt? Nah, I
That's
don't like
different.
Elon Musk.
That's different. That's you talk about Trump building his
Now,
wealth in the
who's
80s
better?
and 90s and
Who's
Elon Musk in the
better?
thousands.
Who's smarter? I think they're both stupid.
Elon Musk and Trump?
For
I would
different
say-
reasons.
I would say Trump's a little more stupid because of his celebrity.
No, let me say
His
this. Though,
celebrity
like,
makes him stupid.
does money make you smart?
No,
Then what's the matter how much money you got?
but it makes you knowledgeable. It
Of
opens
what?
doors.
Of what?
How the world
it
works?
opens doors, yeah, because you can pay people to do anything for you.
Yeah, I mean, money make as much as we hate it, money makes the world go round. And for people who are able to gain a lot of it illegally or legally, you have to say they have some smarts about them, bro. Like Donald Trump is not a stupid man.
Because
You know
it's
what I
hard
mean?
to like. It's hard to like.
Anyone
fail.
who's able to acquire
hard-
multi-millions of dollars.
Imagine how hard it is to fail when you have $1 billion. How hard is it to fail when you have $50?
I don't know. I don't know Trump.
Like at
personally.
least, I mean, you out here telling
My
me you're
only
smart.
issue is we don't know. We don't know.
Well,
We don't
we're
know
not
because they
supposed to.
haven't revealed anything to
We're
us.
not supposed to know.
All we know
So,
is that Trump is being
part of the
indicted for being
establishment we live in-
allegedly having top secret documents at his house.
Hey,
That's all we know.
part of the benefits of having, or the alleged benefits of having an establishment we live in, which we live under, is that we have a justice system. And we
Mhm.
have to trust them to do their
But
job.
we know the justice system.
We know it's corrupt.
Why do we?
Can't. But I always feel like, but let me finish. I do feel like that we don't have much of a choice, do we? Right?
We don't.
Now, are you going to
Unless you're
investigate
gonna
this? Are you
tear
going
down
to
the
do you know
establishment to its
anybody?
roots?
Do you know anybody who's going to investigate this who you would trust to tell you the
Of
truth?
course not. You have to trust the media, right? But it's an open secret that
The
why do
media
we trust
skews
politicians
things,
and
definitely.
media when it's an open secret that they lie? We know politicians lie. We know presidents
I think
lie.
they lie for
We know
incentives.
congressmen lie. We know they lie. We know business tycoons lie. They don't tell us the truth.
So what do we do about
So
that?
why do
Do
we
we
trust
just
them
not-
so much?
But do we not?
Why do we trust the media? We know
But
they
do
lie.
we not trust anybody?
It's kind of how you have the
So do
compartmentalization
you
of
think?
information.
So do you think
Nick
everything is a
Fury
lie?
explained
Then?
it.
So, but do
Nobody
you think?
spills all the
but do
secrets
you
because nobody
think-
knows them all.
But do you think everything is a lie? Then
It's like the-
how do you exist in the world if you think everything is a lie,
We could not
Or
be
if
sick. Or you
everything's
think
the
that's
truth.
air you're breathing
or
right now?
everything is the truth?
Or you think that's air you're breathing right
It's
now?
a mix of
Those-
different chemicals. We got turtles over there, John.
We got
You
nitrogen
breathing
in
that
our
shit right there.
atmosphere.
Yeah, straight up, man. But like,
Yes, man.
it's complicated, D.
It is.
Right? But you can't think that everything is a lie. And I'm not out here
It's
defending. I'm not out here defending our justice system, right? But I think when it
It's
comes
what's
to
in
certain
place.
D,
Especially towards men
from
of
your
color.
perspective, you think, oh, they were after Trump the whole time.
They are.
From my perspective, this nigga been doing illegal shit for a long ass fucking
Yeah.
time.
Way before he was president. And you didn't care about it
And
before he was president. He
Because
did,
he
he
wasn't
did
the
illegal
leader of
stuff
my
as a
country.
business
Yeah, he wasn't
tycoon
the
when he was
leader.
running
Hey,
Trump
D,
Towers.
he wasn't the leader
When he
of my
became the
country
president, that's when he
and
became
making
a monster
You
rules
this
think
year.
he's the
and
first leader of the
making rules
country?
for me in my
I
life.
saw
But also, let me-
Claudine mentioned Cornel West in the chat a little while ago. I forget the I saw a lecture by Cornel West. He was just saying I was listening to it yesterday, the day before. But he said 15
He's a teacher, ain't he?
14 to 15 out of the
Teacher.
first 14 to 15 of the first U.S. presidents were all slaveholders.
Yeah.
So that should tell you something about the establishment in the country in the office of president of the United States.
I think
Okay,
we're all aware of that.
right. But don't act like it's some noble office that just Donald Trump is the only one that's ever broken the law and he's never done anything wrong. And they all done it, Juice. You think Clinton didn't do something illegal? I mean, he just didn't get caught. He wasn't as high profile as Trump. He wasn't on Twitter. Okay, you think Reagan didn't do something illegal? Of course they did. That's how this operates,
Reagan
bro.
did enough.
Reagan did it legal.
That's how this operates. Donald
Hey,
Trump does
then
not go in there and do what he wants. He
got a
joins
piece,
the
didn't he?
team.
Or he was about to get a piece, but he
He was
stepped
about
down.
I get it, but
He
don't
didn't
act
get
like
ran.
Donald Trump is the only one. Okay,
So why
like
you
it's a
defending him?
corrupt.
So why
not
are you
all
defending him?
offices.
If you think
I'm not defending him. I'm defending the fact that we don't know. We're being told, but we don't know. And it's an
How
open
can we
fact
know,
that they
D?
lie and
How can we
deceive us,
know?
and they drive certain
How
narratives
can we
to
know,
form
D?
certain public
D,
opinions.
How can we know?
And
I can answer
seemingly
that
it works.
D, answer the question. How can we know?
How can we know?
How can we know?
Nobody knows all the secrets.
You
Nobody can spill them all.
You go and get a job in the government. You go and get a job in the government and get a clearance level to get.
And we can see what's on those top secret documents to know whether he's actually guilty or not.
And you gonna tell us? Documents.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you in a minute.
Don't tell me, nigga. I'm trying to go to jail. I'm black, yo. Like they will literally put my ass in jail. He might not go to jail. If you tell that shit, your ass is going to jail, dude.
He's not going to jail.
I
think he's made enough connections where
I think he's rich enough. I think he's white enough, and I think he's powerful enough, and he's a former president that he's probably not going to jail. I'm like 80% on that jump. There's a cool 20.
I'm hopeful.
There's a cool 20% that I'd be surprised. I don't
think he's going to suffer.
But like all in all,
I think this is only going to add to his popularity.
It's just like the crazy thing is for me, D, right now is that like you're just like
I'm not defending him. Donald Trump don't care about me.
That wasn't a defense.
No, it wasn't the offense of him personally. It was the offense of the
your
fact
argument
that
is that nobody knows. Therefore, what?
We don't know. So you don't know enough to form an honest opinion. You're carrying over these negative feelings that you have for him previous to this situation, and you're feeding it into the situation that they're giving you. You already thought Donald Trump was a bad person. You already were against Donald Trump.
I'm not indicting Donald Trump.
So of course you're going to think Donald Trump's guilty for having top secret
documents. I'm not indicting him.
He was already indicted years ago for you.
I'm not also on the jury.
I have no power in this flow of
circumstances that's happening to this crazy man up here.
He's crazy.
But guess what? Those people up there, well, I don't know. Those look like his lawyers, but there's a whole team. There's a whole team of other rich white people who are like, hey, this crazy dude did some criminal. And this crazy dude did some criminal, and we have to hold him accountable. Mm-hmm. And for me, hey, they could be lying, but they probably not.
I feel like he ain't.
And I feel like it's cool for me to celebrate that.
It's almost like
I think it's cool for me to celebrate that. That's all.
I'm not saying if he did something criminal, he should suffer consequences, right?
Okay, cool. We on the same page.
But how far does the rabbit hole go? Because you locked up Bill Cosby for doing stuff back in the 70s and early 80s, right?
Good.
So are we going back to Reagan in the early 80s? Does Reagan get held accountable?
Lock his ass up too.
I mean, does the first George Bush get held accountable?
Straight up.
I mean, what other ex-presidents or
all of them? Name them.
Right.
Name them.
So so they should all be held accountable,
straight
right?
Up, yes.
It shouldn't stop with Trump.
Yes,
but you don't care about Reagan.
I do.
You care about Trump.
I was thinking
because you didn't like him already.
Is Reagan even alive?
No, he's not.
He's not alive. The fuck?
I mean, neither is George Bush Senior.
Wait a minute.
D, name a criminal alive. Hey, D, name a criminal alive. Name a criminal alive who you think should be locked up, and not probably who did the crime. Right? Name
George Bush second.
Straight up, lock his ass up.
Right, but you don't care about him.
Lock his ass up.
But I'm sure you don't think. Do you think George Bush did anything illegal while he was in office?
I think that if they can prove it,
I think so too.
I think if they prove it,
would you win on that?
I definitely think. He definitely lied.
Wait. Do we know?
Definitely lied about going into Afghanistan. Definitely lied.
That was part of
them motherfuckers. All lied. I feel like every one of them should be tried in the Hague.
They should
and be fucking locked up. That's what I think.
I do. I think you're right.
What?
I'm not lying.
I have no power in this flow.
Yeah.
But I can celebrate this motherfucking getting locked up. Well, I don't think he's getting locked up. But I can celebrate
I have always been like
it's getting some consequence. That's all.
It seems like I've always been a staunch defender of Trump. Trump don't care about me. Trump ain't thinking, man. Think
you out here defending this nigga's honor and shit. Like
Donald Trump he was crooked a long time before he's a capitalist. So
we're good with him getting locked up if he did
something illegal.
Yeah, straight up.
If he did something illegal, yeah.
But
the point is, we don't know. But in your opinion, and I think in the court of public opinion, he's guilty already. A lot of people don't like him. They don't know anything about what he took and what he had in his home. They just know they don't like him.
Everybody think Justice Smollett is guilty as fucking charged, and I'm still on the fucking fence about that shit.
I think this is guilty, dog.
I'm still on the fucking fence about that shit. I watched some fucking look. I'm still on the fence about that shit. Now you could be like, oh, we just don't know. I could be like, oh, we just don't know. And I'm like, dude, if you can prove it, then fine, prove it. But they haven't proved it to me. Not to be on a reasonable doubt to me.
Prove to you that
he did all that shit. That he had the fucking conviction.
We covered him on the show on one of the podcasts.
So that's all I'm saying. Like, look, if they do it, lock him up, son. That's all I'm with. That's all I'm about, yo.
I'm with that about anybody.
Anybody, right? We're on the same page.
You did a crime. It's just
so don't be out here defending.
It's almost so big. It's like
Why are you defending?
How do you know that personal vendettas are involved?
You gotta trust the fucking.
I can't trust the fact that no one has a personal vendetta against him, and they don't just want to see him locked up.
Who then? Who
is a good question, and we can go round and around in loops about that. But
well, at least
somebody
propose.
Somebody got it, but you can't
just be like
you can't tell me I should say that he's guilty because you have a vendetta against him.
Does Hillary have a vendetta? That's what you think is doing this?
Could be people that she knows, people that she works with. And the problem is it's too big.
But what if he just actually did the crime?
They don't know.
What if he just actually did that shit?
Hey guys.
He wasn't alone. You know what I'm saying?
Well, anyway, I didn't know. I didn't expect I thought it was going.
I hate this
celebratory
part.
And shit.
I love the whole cast, but that was probably one of the most interesting parts of the conversation. The debate is always the most interesting part, man. I'm telling you, right? You know what I'm saying?
I have a good time debating.
Yeah, it's always the most interesting part of the cast, man, because it's just so
it's complicated, but
opinion forming and complicated, and we don't know, and it's fun to speculate, and it's almost like a movie. This Donald Trump is almost like
this is definitely a movie. Like we're living through history. Y'all understand?
Yeah, it's like Trump.
Y'all understand? We're living through history.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely.
Like he got indicted already. This is his second indictment.
Time.
Do you think he's going to get elected?
No, I don't.
I think he's going to run, dog.
I'm more worried about DeSantis, bro. Like real shit. DeSantis is a crazy man. That guy's wilding out here. But I think I don't know. I think he's also scaring normal people.
Yeah.
But like. I definitely don't think Trump's getting elected. I could be wrong.
Anything can happen. I think this is only going to add, unless they come out with something concrete. You are guilty. I think it's only going to add to his popularity.
You haven't read any of the stuff, so you don't know like the concrete shit they got. But they got recordings.
I know what they said. Did I tell you about remember Donald
the recordings,
Trump? Remember?
Did I tell you about the recordings?
Wasn't there a video a couple years ago when Donald Trump was president and he threw some tear gas and took the picture of the Bible upside down? Now that was a despicable act, right? But you moved on from that. That doesn't matter anymore. That's in the past. Now you're worried about this indictment of these supposed top secret files that he had at his home. That was a more despicable act than these supposed files that he has at his home that I don't personally know. But I know he tear gassed the crowd and moved them out the way to take a picture of an upside down Bible and do a photo shoot in front of the church.
Why was that more despicable?
Because I saw what happened. I saw it. You don't know what's in those damn boxes, Juice. You don't know.
I know
you don't know. I don't know. Frank don't know. Scarlett don't know. We don't know
what's in those boxes. He moved those people. Did he move them with his own hands?
We saw him go over there, and we know that he was.
I think that Bible was
executive in chief, and he was there.
Dude, that Bible was photoshopped. It was right side up.
Whatever. All right. Well, we have differing opinions on that, but
I don't believe that. Actually. I'm just saying.
The point is, time will move on, and eventually, you won't care about this indictment. That's the way the media works. That's the way they work our attention spans. Is that we're going to move on. The American news cycle just keeps going. It'll be something else in the mid next month. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's how it happens, man.
But this is history.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. He does look like a sleazeball. You know what I'm saying?
All right,
All
right cool. All right. Anyway, all right.
That's it. All right. So, guys, thank you for joining us. I know my man Frank is ready to get out of here. He's about to fall asleep over there in the chair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a nice chair.
Yeah, man. So, I guess I'm not even sure what episode number this is. Probably 105.
127? I
don't think it's quite that. We might be in the hundreds, though. I'm sure of all the cast, maybe since started doing remote and all that.
It's 107.
Has to be 100.
100th episode. Oh, let's feel honored.
Has to be over 100 episodes.
Probably.
Maybe.
You need to go back and count them.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Well, congratulations and shit.
But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. Once again, I'm your host D.
Juice.
Right.
Yep, signing off and tells an idea talkers podcast.
Yes.
Share, subscribe, like. Thanks, guys. And thank you, Scarlett.
Yeah.
All
right. Now, how to turn this off?
That was a dope.